Good morning. It is 6 a.m. live from the Circus Sports at the Main Kentucky Down studio. I'm Zach Kroll. We had another massive trade in the NBA yesterday as the LA Clippers have agreed to trade All-NBA forward Kawhi Leonard to the Toronto Raptors for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, and unprotected first-round picks in 2031 and 2033, a first-round pick in 2027, and 2 second-round picks. Leonard spent the 2018-19 season in Toronto and won the NBA Finals. Also in the NBA, LeBron James has let the Lakers know he will return for a 24th season, but it will not be in the purple and gold. James arrived in LA prior to the 2018-19 season, leading the team to an NBA title in 2020. The World Cup continues as 3 more teams punched their tickets to the round of 16 yesterday, as Norway defeated Ivory Coast 2-1, France defeated Sweden 3-0, and Mexico defeated Ecuador 2-0. Team USA is in action tonight against Bosnia, beginning at 7 p.m. Central Time in Santa Clara. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Good morning and welcome in on a beautiful, muggy, feels like you've got a pillow over your head kind of morning in Middle Tennessee. This is Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. First of the month, last show of the week for us that is live. And we got 4 hours to hang out with you. 615-737-1045, the number. Streaming live on 1045 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. He is the executive producer of Titans Radio, Rhett Bryan, filling in for Ramon Foster. Zach Kroll in for the new dad, Justin Hawkins, on parental assignment, which is fun to say for the first time for him.
Life assignment there.
I'm Will Bowling on this beautiful Wednesday morning. Good morning, Rhett Bryan. Welcome in.
Good morning to you. Good morning to Zach. I'm ready to do, this is Friday. It's not Friday Junior.
Absolutely.
We're off for the next couple of days and then celebrating the 250th anniversary of our country on Saturday. So we're talking right before we got the show started. You just reminded me of something. So you went and saw Post Malone last night at Nissan.
I did.
And I know how much you love Posty.
Big fan.
Did he have an opening act?
Big X the Plug.
Oh, yeah.
Was right before him. And then Carter Faith, I believe is her name, who is a
This was a part of the Big Ass Stadium tour.
That's exactly right. He was terrific, by the way. I genuinely, and you know this about me, I don't know how many people know this, but yeah, Carter Faith was the first one. He is my favorite solo artist ever. I love so many bands. I love the band Camino, who has one of the intro songs of this show that you hear hours 2 and 4 typically. Love the 1975. Loved Daughtry, because I was a big American Idol fan growing up, so I loved Chris Daughtry and Daughtry. Imagine Dragons, went through a big Imagine Dragons kick that I wouldn't say really exists anymore. But that being said,
okay.
That being said, it's funny how musical tastes change or stay the same. But Post Malone is my favorite artist of just solo, just him artist. And it's funny because I was a huge fan of him when the song Candy Paint came out.
Okay.
Went back into his original Stoney album where he's got Congratulations, he's got I Fall Apart, White Iverson, which are some of his big songs. But I was probably one of his, probably many fans, to be fair, there's a lot of us, who also love country and like the most recent stuff. So I'm a fan of all of it.
Well, let me say this. He I don't know all of his songs. I know a chunk of them. Super talented guy.
By all accounts, a great guy as well. And heard a lot of really good things about him.
Never heard a bad thing in that department. And let's be honest. I mean, if he's packing out Nissan Stadium, he's doing something right.
Yes.
So what made me think about this? You said that this was your first concert at Nissan Stadium since CMA Fest 2012.
Yeah, I was a freshman in high school.
Potentially your last, because that is the last year of this building.
Yes.
As new Nissan Stadium is being constructed next door. Now, you just made me think of something.
Okay.
I've never seen a concert at Nissan Stadium.
Have you really?
Never.
Wow. That surprises me, as much of a music person as you are.
Well,
You're a little busy during the during the football season, obviously.
Kind of shook out that way.
Sure.
I mean, obviously, I've never sat in a seat for a game.
Fair.
Been working.
Fair.
And I've worked some Music City Bowls. But the only events I've seen there have been like motocross, monster trucks, whatever.
Yeah, right.
I haven't. So I've never experienced that.
Wow. I'll tell you what, I mean, I was taking it all in last night, thinking about that, of, wow, this is my first concert here in about 15 years. At the same time, probably my last, and probably my last time, honestly, Rhett, sitting in a seat in that stadium doing anything. We were on the east side last night. Typically, the seats I've sat at, just from random, however it's worked out, have been on the other side, on the riverside. But tell you what, they've already done a good job putting new signage and putting the new logo everywhere inside that building.
Well,
there are not many places where the old logo still lives.
Yeah. And I'm sure they're tracking those down as we speak. And Burke Nihill, good morning, sir. If you're listening, he's making notes. Also, Burke, if you're listening, we would like a seat from the building when it's done.
That'd be awesome.
I would really like that.
Absolutely.
Would really, really like that.
But the thing I love the most in that, kind of speaking more about that, though, is the corners of the stadium where you've had Nissan signage and you've had Tighten Up, you've had different things. That block lettering they have done now as the new font of the Tennessee Titans. The same font you're going to see in the end zones, too, from what we know about what new Nissan Stadium and what this version of Nissan Stadium are going to look like. That lettering looks really, really good. It pops. And the Titan blue pops everywhere as well. It kind of goes well with the red of the Nissan advertisements as well, because the red obviously being more of the secondary color now versus navy blue for the Titans. It looks really good. I'm impressed by how much they have already done to get new signage and new stuff up. About the only thing you could get that had the old logo on it anywhere in that building were the cups to get a drink with. And obviously that's going to take probably a little bit longer, but
I guarantee you there's
really,
orders
really cool.
of new. Yeah.
Absolutely. And not a complaint, just the one observation I had of the one place I saw it. But great show. Post Malone is awesome. Better vocally than I expected him to be, and I love him. But he is very, very good live.
In this day and age, and it has been for quite some time, you don't know how much auto-tune a person has applied to their vocals when they're in the recording process. So some are better live than others. But, boy, Nissan Stadium's had a hell of a week between that and Alan Jackson's last concert. Good grief,
and how about the folks that showed up to that in the country music industry?
Well, it's Alan Jackson.
Well, right.
He has cemented such a major place in country music. Listen, all I need to know is when George Strait shows up for you, yep, there it is.
That's
the king of country music.
Stamped.
Yeah, and then all the others. And I knew some people that went to that show, and they said it was just unbelievable.
Yeah, right.
And just, so sad with what he has going on health-wise, and has debilitated him to the point that he is no longer can tour. And it's just, that's the thing about health is I've seen some artists that I really, really like that were much older than he have to stop touring and playing live. I'll give you an example. Like a few years back, Linda Ronstadt, who has a fantastic voice and can sing anything. And I'm talking about from her Mexican heritage, where she lived out west, she can sing any of those things, opera, all of it, Broadway, rock, pop, whatever. She had Parkinson's. She found out she was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and she had to immediately stop because it would not allow her the vibrato in her voice. Same thing with Neil Diamond a few years later. And so anytime I see stuff like that, it's sad. And it
is.
That brings it full circle to this week with Chris Johnson. And
it does.
What has happened to him. And that's why we're going to have some fun and celebrate CJ2K in hour 2 of the program with 10 of probably his best runs in his career, as I dub him the and I've said it for a long time, the most electric Titan in the history of the Titans.
There's no question.
I mean, when you think Chris Johnson, home run speed is the first thing that comes to mind. And durability is probably the next. I mean, just because we're going to get into all this, and I want to echo something that Ron Slay said on 3HL a couple days ago when this news dropped. When we have people chime in about their favorite memories, we're not going to speak about him like he's gone. The man's still here. He's got a hell of a fight in front of him. But we're going to celebrate him like he deserves to be celebrated because a lot of people fell in love with the Titans' younger generations because of number 28.
No question.
I mean, how many people have you seen say that publicly this week since all that dropped?
I mean, he is the type of person that made it cool to be a Tennessee Titan and cool to be a Tennessee Titans fan. For a market size that we are, and especially we're then. I mean, we're talking close to 2 decades ago now, which is crazy. It's been that long since he was here, but at that point, we were even smaller
years
market.
Ago.
Right. There have been a couple players in Titans history that have transcended our market size and have become national football icons. I think about Pac-Man Jones and the run that he had at the beginning of his Titans career, and the Chris Berman, Vince Young and Eddie George both being on the cover of Madden. Obviously, Steve McNair and his MVP, but even Steve at the quarterback position never got the notoriety that I think he deserved because of the other guys that unfortunately were born around the same time as him, including in the division in Peyton Manning. But Chris Johnson of that 2,000-yard season became a legend, not only in this city, in the conference, but in the entire league. It has been really cool for me to see, Rhett, how many current NFL players have posted on social media about how much they loved Chris Johnson, and Patrick Mahomes being one of the big ones the other day of just, oh my gosh, like this isn't right. Like prayers up for CJ2K. It is truly amazing to see how much he is loved in this community, but just all around the country from the impact he had on so many people.
And I hope he continues to get the love and support that he needs because he and his lovely wife and their 4 children, they need all the help they can get with this. This is a major pivot in life and something, unfortunately, Titans fans are not unfamiliar with, as Tim Shaw, his teammate, has had it for 12 years now. And you're talking about the outpouring of major profile athletes that just love CJ2K. Look at that interview with Michael Strahan. It visibly bothered him.
Yeah.
He couldn't, you could see him calculating, this is really Chris Johnson sitting across from me. Before the interview dropped and Good Morning America dropped that post on X that had a split screen.
Yep.
And the left-hand side was a shot of him from that interview using the computer device with his eyes, and the other was an action photo. I thought somebody with their social media is really screwing up because that's not CJ2K on the left. Turns out it was.
Right.
I could not believe how he had changed in just over a year because I saw him at Senior Bowl that would have been January of 25. So around the time or not too far after when he was first diagnosed, and to see how rapidly that had progressed to the point that he couldn't speak anymore, I think the thing that I was thankful for him is that AI had progressed enough that they could capture his vocals when he still could do all that. And how I was really impressed with how AI, it had his inflection, his pitch, the cadence, all of it. It sounded just like CJ2K sitting there talking. But I saw how much weight he'd lost and what he'd gone through. It shocked me to my core.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, I've thought about him all week since that happened.
Me too.
Constantly.
I liked what Will Levis said on his Instagram the other day, too, in that it's going to be really cool to see so many players, when they score touchdowns this season, do CJ2K's dance. in touchdown celebration. That's something I think we're going to see a ton of this year all across the league from all 32 teams, especially when a running back scores a touchdown.
Yeah, what is the he mentioned this before. Yeah, it's a rapper from the Orlando area, I think. And I forget the name of the celebration dance. I've seen people reference it this week.
Choppa City Juke.
Bingo.
Is the name of his dance. Yep.
He did it every time he scored. And by the way, he 58 touchdowns.
Yep.
In 95 games.
So Choppa City Juke is what it's called. Austin Stanley wrote about this the other day, A2ZSports.com. So it's an Orlando rapper known as Popeye who attended a pool party where Chris Johnson was hanging out during the offseason. He did a dance at the party. Chris Johnson recognized it immediately as his future touchdown celebration. He said that on a podcast with Antonio Brown, actually.
Yep.
Back in 2024. Yep. And we're going to see it a lot this season in the NFL from Titans players, but from all players. I think.
And let me say this. In as long as I have seen the Titans play and followed this team, covered this team, whatever you want to call it, and seeing the opponents, as far back as I go, I've seen Deion Sanders. I've seen Michael Vick in person. He's one of the fastest human beings. And the thing about him that made him so different, he was as fast horizontally as he was north and south. And don't get this twisted either. He wasn't just bouncing stuff outside and heading 80 yards. He took a hard yards too now.
Yes,
he was tough as nails.
Absolutely.
I've seen him go inside the center guard gap and knock back a couple of dudes and truck for 60, 70 yards. I'm glad that we're doing this. I hate that it has taken this to do this because I don't feel like we talk about Chris Johnson enough.
Right.
Because, my Lord, he has a chapter in Titans history that is nothing short of electric.
Let's get to Bam in Nashville. Let's talk about CJ2K here to lead us off on the phones. What's up, Bam?
Yo, it's good, fam. Hope everybody doing all right, man.
You too?
Morning.
Man, yeah, this has been a kind of an emotional week, looking at that, being a diehard Titans fan, being a CJ fan, and figuring out ways that, we as fans or, people in the community can help. One thing, the night before the first game, my band is going to be performing. What we're going to do, man, we're going to donate all of our money that's made that night to CJ's family or whatever foundation, just to show support. Love, just be a real Titan. That's what being a Titans fan is, making sure that we come through for each other. So that's one thing that we're going to do. It's just, and just love and respect to him for what he's done for the culture, for the city of Nashville, and just across the league in general, man. So, man, we continue to pray for CJ and his family. Shout out to his wife for holding it down for him, man. Yeah, that's hard to watch, but it's life, and this teaches you just to be grateful for everything that you do have, and continue to pray for those and be there through action, not just words. You know what I'm saying? So we just gonna try to come through for them any way that we can.
Love it,
Bam. Appreciate you.
Good stuff, Bam. Thank you for the call.
Couldn't have said it better. That's exactly right, Bam. The balance of life is very, very delicate, and this is another harsh reminder. Check on your people. Ramon says it all the time. Check on your people. Make sure they're good. What do they need? Help them out. Do it without any expectation of anything reciprocally in turn, to get back. And for God's sakes, if you love somebody, tell them you love them. Don't be
never hold back a positive thought about somebody else that can help.
Never.
Yep. It's a good way to live.
Never.
Absolutely. Well said. 615-737-1045 is our number. We are live for the 1045 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. I've got the Where's Waldo shirt on once again today because the United States are back in action tonight against Bosnia. I've got what you need to know if you are wanting 100 level and maybe even just a dash of 300 level.
100 level
soccer discussion for you. Coming up next, Rhett Bryan, Will Boldick, Ramon and Will, 1045 The Zone.
A day at the spa, the perfect gift for birthdays, anniversaries, or any occasion. Lavish and luxurious, yet affordable. A grand gesture, yet simple for you. The gift card from A Moment's Peace. Give her the gift she won't buy herself. An escape, a bit of luxury. Something special that shows more than just words. A gift from A Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa in Cool Springs across I-65 from Galleria Mall. Call 615-224-0770 or go online at amomentspeace.com anytime.
Wednesday morning on Ramon and Will. Rep Brian and Will Bowling, 615-737-1045, our number. A game day for the U.S. men's national team tonight. 7 o'clock on Fox from San Francisco Bay Area Stadium. Because that's the way we all know it here in America. San Francisco Bay Area Stadium for the U.S. and Bosnia and Herzegovina.
So when I saw that, I was like, do they have it there? I've seen where they took, put labels over certain logos in the seats. So that still applies to like not mentioning that it's Levi's Stadium?
That's correct. All of the partner broadcasters, everybody.
When this happens at Nissan Stadium down the road.
Because I think it will in 12 years.
It won't be mentioned?
Correct. It will be Nashville Stadium. So it's funny, Levi's specifically, there's a curtain.
Live from Nashville Stadium.
Yeah, that's right. There's a curtain right in front of the Levi's part of the stadium logo right outside of the facade where you have like the big embankment and the suites, the press box, all that stuff. And Levi's on, I believe, Instagram covered up their logo on their Instagram profile picture with a curtain. And so it looks like they're just totally embracing it of like, you know what, we're going to use this as a positive, even though it's not used for it. We will get to the U.S.-Bosnia breakdown, but Joey in Cross Plains wants to talk about CJ2K. Want to get him in here real quick before we do that. Good morning, Joey.
What's up, Red? How you doing, Will?
Good.
What's happening?
So, so this is a memory, and I brought it up Monday with 3HL, and it's a reminiscent of almost, he done it before Derrick Henry done it, and Brett, you might be able to help me with the year, but we were playing the Jets here at home, and it was a night game, and I think we were on either like the 10 or the 5, and they handed CJ the ball, and he tried to go up the middle, but I think it was like so clogged up and everything. But then he bounced it to the right and went, like I said, either 90 or 95 yards. And I mean, the run itself was amazing. But then like a couple of days later, I was listening to or watching that Sports Science that ESPN used to do. And they actually they put a stopwatch on it. And he ran, like I said, he either ran 90 or 95 yards in 10.31 seconds because he scored on that one, and I think helped us win that game if I'm remembering correctly. Do you remember that game, Brett?
Yeah, it was December the 17th, 2012, and you're right, it was a primetime game, and that is the longest run of his career at 94 yards exactly.
Okay, so I know I was close somewhere in there, but yeah, I mean, just every time that man was handed the ball, I just always held my breath to see what he was going to do, and
and about a 500,000 of us, of the rest of us, we did the same thing in the booth. Doubt. We're like, here we go. Oh, he got a little daylight. Bye bye.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing to watch him run, and my heart pours out. Because, I mean, I'm not going through the same thing, but, I did have something happen that took something away from me.
Yep.
And so, I mean, my heart goes out, prayers and everything to his family and to the researchers that, hopefully that they can come up with a cure and, to help him out and everything. But, yeah, I mean, dude, it tore me up when I heard the news. And I hate it for him and his family.
Absolutely.
Same here, Joey. Appreciate that.
Good to hear from you.
Good memory, too.
Yeah. Absolutely. That was one of the iconic moments. We're going to hear those iconic moments as heard on Titans radio coming up in the second hour. I'm excited to go down that memory lane and
I'll
remember CJ's career.
That run won't be in there. I didn't want to make it just the 10 longest runs of his career. That one I did not put in there. I've got something else in its place that's a much more significant moment.
Love it. Good stuff. All right, tonight at 7 o'clock, Rep Brian, something will happen for the very first time in the history of soccer in the United States.
And that is?
And I'm excited by it. This is the first time that the U.S. men's national team will play a World Cup game in a knockout round in prime time. There is a real opportunity tonight for U.S. Bosnia on Fox, 7 o'clock, San Francisco Bay Area Stadium, actually known as Levi Stadium, to be the most watched soccer game on American broadcast television history. Now, that currently belongs to the U.S. women from the 2015 World Cup final that they won 4-1. Carly Lloyd scored from the parking lot. She had that midfield goal. About 25 million people watched it across all languages in the United States.
Yeah.
Primetime Sunday afternoon game. This has got an opportunity to be the biggest stage that U.S. soccer has ever played on, men or women in this country. And I'm really fascinated to see how the United States lives up to that pressure and whether or not you can tell that they feel the eyeballs on them or not. So Bosnia is ranked around 60 to 70 in the world in the FIFA rankings. Throw that out the window tonight because, first of all, FIFA rankings, there are so many games. There are so many different opponents that you can play. There's so many different atmospheres and stadiums in which you can play those opponents. FIFA rankings are very inexact science. Give or take about 10 spots in either direction for every team in the world based on where they are actually ranked. There was a time where the U.S. was ranked, I believe, number 1 in the world. Never really had any business actually being that high. Just went on a nice little unbeaten run back in the mid-2000s. So Bosnia beat Wales on penalty kicks in March to set up a qualification playoff against Italy a few days later. And Italian players were seen celebrating on social media when that happened. Obviously, we know what ultimately ended up happening. Bosnia knocked out Italy in order to get to this point, to get to the World Cup. And Italy is a 4-time World Cup champion. They've missed the last 3 World Cups, which is insane. And they are going to play a really difficult style tonight. So this is the beauty, often the ugliness as well, of soccer. It's what Paraguay was able to do to Germany the other day. Just because the United States is more talented and has more what we'd call in soccer individual quality does not mean you are automatically going to be able to break down a defense that is looking to do one thing and one thing only, and that's defend. The United States in this tournament has been really good at drawing players out of spaces and then attacking the space they just drew a player out of. And against Paraguay, it was the best example of it, of a 4-1 dominant performance, pure domination against another team that I believe only allowed 10 total goals in all of World Cup qualifying in South America. Paraguay, a very good defensive setup. This, a little similar to that in some ways. Bosnia within this thing, in the World Cup so far, averages 44% possession across 3 group stage games. They have possessed the ball for 44% of their games so far. Their 4 shots in the penalty area, in the penalty box, compares to 12 for the United States. 4 shots in the penalty area, and they've scored 5 goals so far off of their total shots. They are one of the lowest possession teams still left in this tournament. United States averages 60% possession per 90 minutes so far in the World Cup. So you're going to see the United States have a ton of possession, have a lot of the ball, have to pass it sideways, have to be patient, have to find their moment to get forward and commit numbers in the attack. And you're going to see Bosnia wait and sit and defend. And the second they get the ball, it's going long down the field and they're chasing it. And here we go. Here comes the counterattack. So very interesting contrast of styles tonight between the U.S. and Bosnia.
So to further frame this, and I'm at the 100 level here.
Fair.
You talked about a first in that this is the first primetime knockout round match for U.S. men's national team here. Here's where I get the brevity of this because I did a little bit of homework for this.
Yep.
European teams have been the Achilles heel for the U.S. men's team. So a win tonight would mean the first for the U.S. men's team since 2002, only the second since 1950, and the first ever in a knockout match.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So to your point about it being in prime time, being a first, and the viewership that could be with that, a win tonight would be historic.
It would be historic in so many ways, and it would also make Mauricio Pochettino the all-time winningest men's manager at the World Cup in the history of the United States men's national team, and this is his 4th game. Think about that.
Good grief.
Well,
here's a couple things. It tells you the plight of the U.S. men's national team in previous World Cups.
For sure.
In its nearly 100-year existence.
Mm-hmm.
And the other, it just tells you the dominance of Europe. How many of the top 100 footballers play for Europe? I mean, It's got to be way up there.
Well, and the amazing thing, too, that we have never been able to say in the United States, and it's no dig at Major League Soccer, but the United States right now, in the starting 11 that it is going to play tonight, has 2 players currently playing in MLS and 9 players playing in European leagues at the moment. Matt Freese for New York City FC, who Nashville SC beat just literally right before the World Cup break, and Tim Ream, the left-sided center back. Nashville SC also already swept the season series with Charlotte FC.
That's some good bragging camp.
Yes, he absolutely is. He spent nearly a decade at Fulham in London in the Premier League and just got to MLS, Tim Ream. Matt Freese, meanwhile, turning so many heads in MLS and with the U.S. men's national team, I think by the time the next World Cup rolls around, he will be in Europe. So you could make the argument that really 11 players in this team have that amount of quality. But talk about New York, Charlotte, and then Crystal Palace in London, Villarreal in Spain, Fulham in London, Malik Tillman playing in Germany, Tyler Adams of the South Coast at Bournemouth in England, Serginho Dest, player that's been at Barcelona, has played with some of the best players in the world. So you are looking at a team that has a moment here to now inspire the next generation and to really make soccer in this country take another step. And this generation that was, a lot of these players are similar to my age or a little bit younger than I am, because this is still one of the youngest teams in the World Cup. But you have a lot of players in this team who were inspired by Landon Donovan and Clint Dempsey in 2010 in South Africa. And then in 2014 in Brazil, where Tim Howard makes 16 saves, still the all-time World Cup record for saves in a match that was almost beat by the Cape Verde goalkeeper a couple weeks ago. But here is the thing to watch tonight, Rhett Bryan, and this is something, again, for the 100 level or for the 200 level of how they do it. This is as simple as it gets. Every time Bosnia has a corner kick, it's a nervous moment for the U.S. Bosnia, very good at set pieces. So what that means is all they have to do is have the ball go last off of us over the end line to get a corner kick. That is where they are most dangerous. And you don't have to have these long, sustained attacks in order to draw a corner kick. You could hoof it down the field, and Edin Dzeko, their 40-year-old striker, who is going to lead the line for Bosnia in this game, and he is a big target forward. He is a mountain of a human being at this point still in his career. 9 goals and 4 assists in 15 qualifier games for Edin Dzeko, who has played at Manchester City in England. He's played at Roma in Italy. They have scored 3 goals from 12 corners so far in the group stage. That is the most of any team so far in the World Cup. They've scored 5 goals in the tournament. 3 of them are off of corners. Bosnia has.
Wow.
Communication is key. Not getting swept up in the noise in the moment is key. Making sure you have your man. Like, it is just as simple as communicating who's got Edin Dzeko when Bosnia and Herzegovina tonight gets a corner kick, because that is something that could totally change this game. If Bosnia gets the first goal, then you thought they just wanted to defend before, you're going to see the nastiest low block. You're going to see them take advantage of every kick, every breath that they feel on them. They're going to fall down. They're going to waste time. The crowd is going to get on the U.S. a little bit. That's where things can get a little nervy for the U.S. tonight. So set pieces, corner kicks, free kicks, long throw-ins, those dead ball opportunities, that's where Bosnia thrives.
All right, question from the 100s over here.
Hit me.
Given that thumbnail, and that was an excellent one to help me understand this better, knowing what you described in that starter level talent that the U.S. men's team has because of the places they come from, the teams they play for, and how that was exposed last week in the guys they sat against Turkey in a match that didn't mean anything.
Right.
And knowing that the yellow card has now reset What are the chances tonight? That's my question.
Tonight, I will give you a number from the Vegas perspective. The United States, according to FanDuel Sportsbook, is minus 600 to advance to the round of 16. They are a heavy favorite tonight. Now, in terms of the money line within 90 minutes, that I think is a good bit lower. But the chances, and I don't have that in front, I can't find it, which is kind of odd. All right, here we go. More wagers. I don't get on this very often because I don't gamble.
And we'll get into the Brenton Sorsby of it all later
right,
in the show.
exactly right. Minus 270 to win in 90 minutes, the United States. So
Okay.
you're talking about heavy favorite. Heavy favorite. Not
So
quite
let's
as heavy
get,
as England against Congo at 11 o'clock today, but still a heavy
Let's
favorite.
get our popcorn and get ready to watch some history.
I'm excited.
That's what we need to do.
The other thing that I saw the other day, Rhett, is that the U.S., out of the 4 teams kind of in their quad here over these 2 rounds, because Belgium, Senegal, that winner will get, hopefully, the United States after a win tonight. Out of those 4 teams, U.S., Bosnia, Belgium, Senegal, U.S. has the best chance of making the quarterfinal. So right now, odds makers are not only backing the U.S. to win tonight, they think the U.S. is going to get past Bosnia or Senegal. They're a plus 110 the last time I checked. So you're pretty much saying 50-50 odds, plus 110.
I'll take
that the
it.
United States is going to be in its first World Cup quarterfinal since 2002.
I'll take it.
Here,
Sign me up
for it. 615-737-1045. We'll get more of your phone calls. We'll talk more about the big headline in sports yesterday, at least here in the United States. LeBron James will play a 24th season in the NBA.
But where?
It will not be for the Los Angeles Lakers. We'll talk about that coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster, and I'm with Aaron from United Structure Systems. Man, they came by today to check out my house. If there's anything, any issues, small or big, you're gonna fill us in there.
We can take care of it no matter what kind of problems. So first off, we'll just kind of take a look through your house and see what kind of issues you got going. You know, cracks in the brick, cracks in the drywall, weird spots in the floor, doors sticking, windows not opening properly. Once we identify those areas, we're going to do a thorough inspection around the outside, make sure there's no issues going on with that. And then once we look over it, we'll talk about what's going on, and hopefully we ain't got no issues, and then we'll go from there.
Let's go. Let's go.
Ms. Foster, so we have looked at the issues that you brought up. We had the drywall in the attic up here above your bonus or your garage. You had some doors sticking.
I did.
Going in your bathroom. So we've inspected all that. We don't see any major structural concerns. So you're going to be one of our lucky good news customers today. There is some minor deflection there. That's not an uncommon thing. As any house is built, it's its biggest and its strongest the day that it's born. Right? And from that point, it just gets older, just like us. We ain't hopping up out of bed, taking off down the hallway, running those stairs anymore.
Not protecting quarterbacks anymore.
No.
Opening up late. We're done.
Your guard ain't there no more.
Okay,
So.
I got you.
So it just happens. It gets a little older and it starts to deflect. Now, there are some things we can do to kind of help adjust those doors, mainly adjusting in the door, which we don't necessarily do, and maybe doing some light shimming in the crawl space down there to address those sticking doors. But for now, no major issues there. We did talk about the grading in the back and some issues that we can take care of back there for you. But that's pretty much up in a nutshell. No big issues and you're good to go. So.
Awesome. So again, what you deal with United Structural Systems is it's upfront, it's honest, and now I can sleep peacefully at night, okay?
Wednesday morning on Ramon and Will. Rep Brian and Will Bowling, 615-737-1045. Going to remember Chris Johnson's Titans career on the football field with 10 of the most memorable plays of his Titans career coming up in 30 minutes. We are certainly looking forward to that. And one of our favorites, Mike in Cleveland, has chimed in on the phones to talk about CJ2K this morning. 615-737-1045. Hey, Mike, what's up?
Big Mike, how we doing up there?
There he is.
There he is.
How we doing?
Yeah. Oh, I'm good, man. I'm good. What about y'all, man? Y'all doing fabulous so far. Though,
Thank you.
on this radio. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, man. We can't, but we can't talk about CJ without talking about that debate of Chris Johnson versus Usain Bolt. I know y'all remember that.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
That's how fast that man was. You know, we as American, football fans was like, yo, we got somebody that could maybe beat Usain Bolt. And I keep saying CJ was our swag because that put a lot of eyes around the world on who who is this Chris Johnson guy? Who are they talking about? And so it forced them to look at the Titans as well. And it was just a heavy debate. I know I'm pretty sure Chris Johnson said he'll be up for it, and Usain Bolt was like, he wasn't with it, and because he wasn't a football fan, he was actually a cricket fan, and that's how I learned that it was other major sports outside of America, like cricket.
Yes, sir.
And debate. But that's how fast, that's how special Chris Johnson was, man. They thought he was, we had him ready to go up against a world-class Olympian with that speed. So, we can't talk about him and not glance that story over. So, y'all have a good and blessed day. Love y'all. Deuces.
Thank you, Mike.
All right,
Appreciate
deuces, brother. Have a good weekend.
Man, so I'm looking back at a story from ESPN about that. August 9th, 2012. And Chris Johnson was quoted in the Tennessean saying, I feel like if I would have kept training for track, I'd have a chance to beat Usain Bolt. He said, but I play football and he runs track, so it's totally different. I think I could still probably beat him in the 40, he said. If I actually trained for the distance he trained for, I think I'd have a chance. That was at the height of Usain Bolt's powers as well, because he set the world record at 100 meters in Beijing at the 2008 Olympics.
Let me say this. I think CJ's right. I think CJ would... I can see like a simul run like they do when the guys running 40 at the combine. He could get him off the blocks.
Yes.
It's the speed
it's the long
after
speed.
that where he might it wouldn't be super decisive. I think CJ could hang with him.
Yeah.
But you go, okay, Usain Bolt really is that fast.
He's different. I mean,
hey, look, let's not
totally
forget this, Big Mike in Cleveland. How about the whole thing about CJ running against a cheetah?
Yes, I remember that.
That was a big deal,
Those John
too.
Brinkus sports science
That's correct.
bits were awesome. I remember that they would show those on Channel 28 on Comcast, Fox Sports South, all the time during the day. That's where I would watch. I would watch Braves games for a lot of my life in
until
the afternoons.
Until you had to pay $100 to watch.
Well, exactly. Because they would either be on CSS.
We had a subscription to everything. It was called cable.
Right. They'd be on Peachtree TV on channel 27 CSS, like on weekdays, and then on weekends they'd be on Fox Sports South. But before and after,
tell me you're a Braves fan without telling me you're a Braves
fan. But before and after that, it was just sports science, just over and over. It was it was a perfect thing to have on in the background. On the 40-yard dash part of it, so one of my teammates at Tennessee, actually, who, funny enough, beat Usain Bolt in his last ever race, Christian Coleman, who I ran track with at Tennessee.
I remember.
World champion sprinter Christian Coleman and Team USA medalist. He ran a 40, and Tennessee did it while I was still there. It was supposed to in 2017. I just found it. And at 85% effort, Christian Coleman ran a 4.12 40.
Jesus.
And he even I've actually found a tweet of his from 2024 saying, mind you, this was 7 years ago. His start, he said, my start way more efficient today. And so he then became, and if you have watched USA track and field at the Olympics, you know this, he is one of the best starters out of the blocks ever, Christian Coleman is. That was in college, not at the height of his powers, at about 85%. I think he could scare 4-0 in the 40-yard dash, and he's the best starter maybe of all time. So there is a difference. I'm not taking anything away from CJ2K. There's a difference in that track speed and football speed. All that being said,
CJ said
I do
it with
agree.
that quote from the Tennessean back
He
then.
said it as well.
He knows.
His best chance to get Usain Bolt would have been at 40. Because Usain Bolt's got such long legs and levers, as we would say, that it took him to his middle of his drive phase, 40, 50 meters to really
when
speed
he gets in there,
right,
look out.
Yeah, then he's
got the long track speed.
The greatest of all time. No doubt about it.
And I'm going to tell you, back in the day, old Michael Johnson with the gold cleats now.
Talking about long speed.
Oh, my.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, I'll just say this again, and I know we'll have people chime in all morning about Chris Johnson, but it's time to give more flowers to CJ2K in light of what has happened to him and as in a major life-altering thing and being diagnosed with ALS.
No doubt. No doubt.
The person is still here. The man in that brain is still there. It's his body that's fought against him. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, Tim Shaw knows all too well.
Yeah.
And Steve Gleason, the superstar special teamer in New Orleans, has had the same battle for over a decade himself.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Well, LeBron James, Rhett Bryant, is going to play a 24th NBA season. It's not going to be for the LA Lakers. He has informed the Lakers that the franchise can move on without him because he will play elsewhere, according to Clutch Sports CEO Rich Paul to ESPN's Shams Charania yesterday. I think he's going to end his career as a Golden State Warrior.
All right, before you do that, before we go down that path, we've just had Father's Day.
Yes.
He did Bronny a favor. Yeah. He's Father of the Year. Go ahead.
Because Bronny James's contract became fully guaranteed, I believe, on Monday. And waited till after that happened in order to go ahead and tell
Son, I left you a parting gift.
No, it's yesterday. Yeah, literally less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
After Bronny James's $2.3 million Lakers contract became fully guaranteed, LeBron James informed the team he won't be back. I saw a hilarious tweet of Savannah James realizing they left Bronny with the Lakers, and it's the mom from Home Alone going, Kevin!
All right, now why do you say he's going to Golden State?
So that report started to really gain steam Monday, midday. Heck, I even think it might have been over the weekend. Like it first came out Sunday, then you have Shams talking about it on the ESPN car wash, then Brian Windhorst mentions this and all the other teams that kind of have money spoken for and moves that are spoken for. And I think it makes sense to LeBron's MO of how much fun that he and Steph Curry had playing together at the Olympics in 2024 in Paris and how close those two guys have become, wanting to team up for one last time, and the Warriors having the space and having the idea, clearly, with Draymond Green declining his $27.6 million player option on Monday to go get LeBron's other buddy, Anthony Davis, and have the team of mid to late 30s superstars.
To try to go make a run.
Would have been the greatest team ever assembled in any sport had they been assembled 5-10 years ago. Be for the 2026-27 season. I guess what's going to happen.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't follow the NBA as closely as I did many years ago, but the free agency window opens tomorrow.
Correct.
Officially, correct?
I believe that's right. Yeah. Yep. So negotiating window opened last night at 5 p.m. Central.
And Kawhi Leonard dealt yesterday, too.
That's right. Back to Toronto.
Wants
to finish his career there. That's right. That's right. So this is honestly, to me, again, as someone who doesn't watch the NBA very much, this part of the NBA calendar is more interesting to me than the regular season is. The players forcing moves,
it is
the
for
drama.
Me with the NBA draft.
It's fun.
Because I'm just magnetized, mesmerized, whatever the hell you want to call it, to the NFL draft. And so I've always watched the NBA draft. And listen, I used to watch the NBA with ultimate frequency. But like a lot of old heads, we've moved on to something else or what. I mean, I still tune in with playoffs and certainly the finals. But this is interesting. So LeBron going to play another year but we're going to find out where pretty soon.
Lakers now have $52 million in cap space as well, so they've got moves that they can make, and obviously Luka Doncic, the piece to build around, and the different guys that they have, but interesting to see what he does. Cleveland and Miami, the other two teams that are apparently in the mix for him. So
with obvious ties previously,
right.
So there you go.
615
Film at 11.
737-1045, our number. Brendan Sorsby is taking accountability for his actions, and the NFL is helping him move on. We'll give you the details coming up next.
This is a different court, Blair.
Same result, Slay.
Oh, okay, Blair. See, that's Tyler Tanner. See, Tyler Tanner's in the house now.
Let's see what you got. Jury's out, Blair.
Blair, come on. Okay, Blair, just come sit down. Come on, Blair. Blair, stop. You're going to get hurt. Blair, get off the court. That's enough.
What's the verdict, Blair?
The courtroom is where I play ball. Boy, Durham, injury law. And that ain't got no roof.
The guaranteed offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house, there's no showings, we pay all cash, we close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell your home the hassle-free way with the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate.
It is 7 o'clock. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mink Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Zach Kroll. We had another massive trade in the NBA yesterday as the LA Clippers have agreed to trade All-NBA forward Kawhi Leonard to the Toronto Raptors for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, unprotected first-round picks in 2031 and 2033, a 2027 first-round pick swap, and 2 second-round picks. Leonard spent the 2018-2019 season in Toronto and won the NBA Finals and also won the Finals MVP. Also in the NBA, LeBron James has let the Lakers know that he will return for a 24th season. However, it will not be in the purple and gold. James arrived in LA prior to the 2018-19 season, leading the team to an NBA title in 2020. James averaged 20.9 points, 7.2 assists, and 6.2 rebounds last season. The World Cup continues as 3 more teams punched their tickets to the round of 16 yesterday as Norway defeated Ivory Coast 2-1, France defeated Sweden 3-0, and Mexico defeated Ecuador 2-0. Team USA is in action tonight against Bosnia beginning at 7 p.m. Central Time in Santa Clara. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into hour number 2 of the program. 615-737-1045, our number on Ramon and Will. Rhett Bryan filling in for Ramon Foster. Zach Kroll filling in for new dad Justin Hawkins. I'm Will Bowling. Streaming the show live on 1045 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. So the NFL, Rhett Bryan, yesterday sent a memo to its 32 teams informing them that former Cincinnati quarterback Brendan Sorsby will not be pursuing litigation against the league, and for purposes of league and CBA rules will now simply just be considered a draft-eligible player for the 2027 NFL Draft. Within that, Brendan Sorsby finally did something. He just took accountability for what he did, totally and completely, without saying, but I want to ...
He went into a rehabilitation program back in April to address his addiction with gambling because, I mean, $90,000 over what, how many? 9,000 bets?
Correct.
And including his own team when he was a part of the Indiana Hoosiers. So I found it interesting in the quote here, for purposes of league and CBA rules, Mr. Sorsby will be considered a draft-eligible player for the 2027 NFL Draft. Mr. Sorsby will not be eligible to sign an NFL player contract until the completion of the 2027 NFL Draft. Now, how I read that is this. First of all, no funny business in trying to contact him, talk to him, whatever. And the other is, will he be drafted? That's how I read that.
Right.
Because this is, I mean, radioactivity is what we're talking about here with how the league is and their stance on gambling. Now, the other part of this, as a part of the settlement, Sorsby will be allowed to participate in normal pre-draft processes such as the Senior Bowl, holding a pro day, going on team visits. The NFL will not discipline Sorsby for his known misconduct in college, which included making bets worth at least $90,000 while a student athlete at Indiana, Cincinnati, and Texas Tech, but does reserve the right to investigate Sorsby's conduct beyond what is in the current public filings and can also take Sorsby's past transgressions into consideration should the league ever need to discipline him for future violation. That's from Ian Rappaport. So, first of all, here's the thing. Good on you, Brendan, for going and getting help, and now just saying it was 100%. I own it. I had a problem. I'm working through it, because now he's going to be scrutinized and, examined closer than your average prospect going forward because of this. It's always the off-field stuff that gets a guy in the crosshairs more than anything. You can gauge by people you talk to, coaches, teammates, whatever, about football character. it's this stuff that you have to do your due diligence on. And so now it'll just be interesting to see. I mean, he will be one of the sidebar stories in what is supposed to be a loaded 2027 NFL draft at the quarterback position and otherwise. So he's kind of, he's paying his dues now because it's like, nope, we're not having a supplemental draft, and you will have to wait your turn like the other young gentlemen that finished this upcoming college football season.
This is essentially his suspension.
Correct.
It's essentially a one-season suspension from playing NFL football. Yep. There are 3 risks a team is going to have to take, whoever drafts Brendan Sorsby, or if he gets drafted in April of 2027 in Washington, D.C. The first risk you got to take is this guy going to gamble again? That's number one. You've got to be sure that this isn't going to happen again, because while he's not nominally being suspended, if he does get in trouble with this again when he does get drafted, they will make the biggest example possible out of him. Because I don't think he would be reprimanded at that point as someone with a first-time offense. That may be a first-time offense as an NFL player, but he's going to be disciplined like someone where this is a second offense, and really in a lot of ways third or fourth.
Before you get to points 2 and 3
spots
of this,
right.
Let me just say this and interrupt for just a second.
You're good.
If he's smart, he and his agent will reach out to Calvin Ridley and talk to Calvin Ridley. You want to know how this goes? Talk to that man.
Mm-hmm.
He's done it.
Absolutely.
He's been in purgatory.
Absolutely.
So there's your call. You need a cautionary tale and what it's like at this level? Talk to Calvin Ridley. He can write you a book about it. And any other resource you can get your hands on like that so that you understand the brevity of it.
That is such a difficult position to have a big red flag with, considering there's only one of you who plays. There's only one quarterback who plays. I'm not breaking any news there, obviously. So if you get popped for this 2 or 3 years down the road, you tough. Because now you have really, really handcuffed a franchise, considering you're the one who plays. Obviously, the difference with a receiver, a tackle, corner doing this is that there are other corners that are already on the football field. There are other offensive linemen already on the football field. Easier to fill in for you.
If you're the starting quarterback, you have just hamstrung your entire team.
Be buttoned up. The second biggest risk a team's going to have to take is, how does this year off impact him, and how rusty is he when he's done? Major question mark. It's why CFL not being a possibility is a big blow to him. It's why all these off-season leagues and other things going on. The UFL, XFL kind of pathway in the spring, I also don't really think makes sense for him, because in that time next year, he's going to be preparing for the NFL draft.
No, that's exactly what he's going to do.
Right.
Yeah.
The third risk you got to take, and maybe the smallest part of this, but I think it's relevant, is the risk of being a distraction in the locker room behind whoever your starting quarterback is. Because all these things put together, and I think even if Brendan Sorsby had been drafted this year, he is a day 2 or day 3 prospect. And so you are not going to walk into a locker room and be the guy right away. How many cameras are around your locker that is a couple lockers down from whoever the starter is? And how willing is an organization to put up with that? We have seen players, whether it be Tim Tebow, whether it be Colin Kaepernick, for multiple reasons, not be brought into organizations because of how big of a distraction they are to the starting quarterback. And Ramon has talked about it at length, about the number one job you've got, oftentimes as a backup quarterback in the National Football League, is to sit down and be quiet, because the starter is the show. You are there to support the starter. That's it.
Act accordingly.
And that's going to be, because of decisions that Brendan Sorsby has already made, he is always going to have a microscope on him. Always. From media, from fans, from probably his teammates, other players. He's just going to be a very discussed figure within NFL football. And I think there are going to be a lot of teams that aren't even going to begin to consider him playing for them because they're not going to want to put up with the media circus.
What's the third thing?
That is the third thing.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
You went on there for a second. So
Yes.
it's okay. It's all right. Let me say this, and I'll back up to something you said a moment ago. That's why I read this quote from the league. Quote, Mr. Sorsby will not be eligible to sign an NFL player contract until the completion of the 2027 NFL draft, end quote. That might be where he is as a UDFA.
Wouldn't surprise me at all right now.
But, well, here's the thing. I think you're right, even with his body of work and none of this have coming to light, if he were to enter this past year's draft, day 2, day 3, but in a quarterback draft coming up that's supposed to be really good, what is he, quarterback 7? Is he quarterback 8? Is he?
I think at best.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
And now he's marked. I mean, this is his scarlet letter, for lack of better terms. So he's just got to be a model citizen, put his nose down to the grindstone, and go to work to be the best. And by the way, be formulating answers that teams with a lot of scrutiny are going to just hit him right in the short ribs with about, all right, man, did some gambling.
Short ribs sound pretty good. Makes me hungry.
Did some gambling, brother. How do I know you're past this?
Right.
You better have some good answers, and they better be contrite and sincere. And then we hadn't gotten to the film because here's the thing: kid's got talent. I've seen him play. You've seen him play.
He definitely does.
But
it's fun to watch.
He's made a crucial mistake off the field, and so now everything rides on that.
Are you going to gamble again? How much are you impacted by taking a full year off, and are you going to be a distraction? His 3 questions and red flags that are now out of his control because of decisions he's already made. 615-737-1045, our number. I'm looking forward to what we are about to do, listening back in the Titans radio archives to some of the most memorable players in the Tennessee Titans career of CJ2K Chris Johnson.
A top 10 playlist. That's what we're doing the rest of this hour.
Rhett Bryan, Will Bowling, Ramon Will, 1045 The Zone. What's going on? It's Will Bowling. Put Lee Company on your team and stay ahead of the game with home maintenance, repairs, and more. For as little as $14 a month, become a Lee Company Plus member and receive 4 annual visits to your home for your heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical systems. Even better, Lee Company Plus members receive 20% off on all repairs and enjoy priority service. You can learn more online at leecompany.com/plus. Platinum Home Protection starts with a Lee Company Plus membership for the folks who have over 80 years of experience serving Middle Tennessee. Lee Company is available 24/7 with 16 community locations in Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, and Georgia. When something's not working around the house, Lee Company Plus makes sure that you are ahead of the game with that home maintenance, with the repairs, and that you're ahead of whatever weather Mother Nature throws at you in Middle Tennessee as well. Head online to leecompany.com/plus. That's Lee Company, all you need. Ramon Will on 104.5 The Zone, Wednesday morning here in Music City. Friday for us, as this is our last live show of the week as we head into the July 4th holiday. And Rip Bryan, we are ready to go into the Titans radio archives. I should say you have already gone into the Titans radio archives to procure some of the best moments and biggest runs in the Titans' career of Chris Johnson.
With the news of CJ2K announcing on Good Morning America earlier this week with Michael Strahan that he has what he believes is sporadic ALS, and it has already greatly affected him, as we saw in that interview. It made me think about just how special and how important he was in his chapter with, as Keith Bullock and Javon Curse in his second tour of duty would have said, the Tennessee Tyrants back then.
Yeah.
Just what a special person he is in that body of his that is failing him right now, and what an incredible football player he was for the Titans. So we're going to go through 10 of his greatest plays as a Titan. And I said it in the 6 o'clock hour, and I'll reiterate here. His longest career run was December 17th, 2012 in primetime at Nissan Stadium against the Jets, 94 yards. I chose to leave that one out of here because I think there's a greater moment that makes this list. And because you're going to hear plenty of long runs in this, because that's what, I mean, home run speed. So 1,742 carries, 7,965. That's the yards. 7,965 yards, 58 touchdowns in 95 games. And, of course, he was good out of the backfield, too. Just to set this up, 21 runs in his career of 40-plus yards. Like double super explosive plays. 78 runs of what we call X plays, 20 yards or longer. Just ridiculous. So at number 10, this one I go back to September 14th, 2008, and only his second game as a Tennessee Titan at the NFL level. Zach, play this right here.
Draw play. Here's Johnson, 30, 35,
Go ahead,
40,
boy. Go ahead.
45, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, and he is going to be taken down by White near the 20-yard line. Woo! 51 yards, and now the Titans will use a timeout.
You're the late Frank Wycheck there, who
That's right.
just he was like the rest of us. We held our breath, as Joey from Portland would say, from Cross Plains would say earlier about, when he got the ball in his hand, you go, what's going to happen? And same for Frank Wycheck.
Yeah.
Like he just couldn't wait. So you would go, well, why is that significant? Well, it's a 51-yard run, one of those many long runs he had. But just in his second game in the NFL, that run helped launch him into his first 100 career rushing yard game.
He made quite an impression quickly, didn't he?
And that's it. That's week two
right.
of his rookie year. And
hit the ground running, for lack of a better term.
His first 100-yard game came in just his second attempt. So, and listen, that's the other thing that's the overriding theme in this is he was viewed as a third down back by a lot of people when he came out.
Sure.
And Titans fans will remember this. At the 23rd pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers took Rashard Mendenhall, who a lot of people had mocked here.
Yes.
And then people are like, who's this Chris Johnson guy? He's from East Carolina. You're not seeing that on television every, like you are here in Southeastern Conference play or whatever. And then you realize it's like, oh, this guy's got cheetah speed here, so let's just see what happens.
I remember knowing a lot more about Mendenhall and seeing him go to Pittsburgh and being, for about 5 minutes, so disappointed because you felt like Rashard Mendenhall was that Eddie George style bruiser runner.
And that's what makes CJ2K so unique is while he's not a small back, I mean, he's a $198 playing and, decent size. He wasn't built like Eddie George. He wasn't built like Derrick Henry. He wasn't built like Chris Brown, even Lindell White, like a big bruiser back. But God, he was just wiry, strong.
He was.
Like he wasn't super thick. All right, number 9 on this list comes from a banger game he had. Fast forward a year later in what would be his 2,000-yard rushing season. September 20th, 2009 against the Houston Texans.
As whatever they were going to run, they don't want to show 3rd and 19.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. You're going to, just like every 3rd and long, it's going to be get out of there for the Texans, play that deep cover 2, and force Carey to check it down, see if he can find a hole deeper.
Collins in the gun. Texans rush 4. They run CJ. He's got the 45 to 50, the 45 to 40, the 35 to 30, the 25 to 20, 15, 10, 5, end zone, touchdown, Titans! That's the way you convert 3rd and 19. You go 57 yards to the house.
Yeah, that's a nice play you draw up right there. 3rd and 19, go score a touchdown. But a lot of times when you play that cover 2, guarding against the sticks, draw plays work because it's easy to block up front, and the defense is backing up basically in that zone.
So that was
Chris Johnson found it.
57 yards to the house, and on 3rd and 19.
Yeah.
That just shows. And did you hear how loud that place got?
Yes. The second he broke through and got an angle.
Everybody caught their collaborative breath.
You knew
and
he was
then,
gone.
wow.
Yeah.
You know?
That was the thing with him is you could never take a bathroom break, go get a drink.
Not when they're on offense.
Go get a snack when on offense. Not even on 3rd and 19. I mean, there were so many plays that were designed to get 5 to 10 yards where he got 50 to 90, literally.
Number 8 on this list is one of his favorite games. November 1st, 2009, against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Tennessee converting another 3rd down. Sweep, right side, Johnson, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Titans! CJ says to Jones-Drew, I can do it too. And the Titans are back in front. 53 yards for the second-year man out of East Carolina.
And they actually ruled that a 52-yard run, but this is that Jaguars game where CJ 2K and Maurice Jones-Drew just traded licks in terms of the running game. It was unbelievable. This was his career rushing game. It was 228 yards, I think, on 28 carries, which is very fitting for number 28. So that's just those last 2 plays we just played at 9 and 8. We're going to revisit some other plays in those same games. He just had some monster games. Now, this number 7 I found intriguing here. This is November 29th, 2009, in the season that was so exciting. It started off so bad, 0-6. They get obliterated by the New England Patriots in Foxborough, 59-0, October 19th. Well, flash forward a few weeks here as VY is now back in the starting lineup. And we all remember the 99-yard drive at Nissan Stadium against the Arizona Cardinals. What gets lost in that game, as it was Kenny Britt, at the end of the regulation in the back of the end zone, north end zone. What gets lost in all that is this play.
Young gives it to Johnson running left. He's got the 20, the 25, the 30, the 40, midfield, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, end zone, touchdown! Titans! 85 yards! CJ does it one more time!
He sure did. 85-yard score. He had 18 for 154 yards, 85 of it on that.
Gosh.
But that's what got lost in all this, is that 99-yard play. Like, it's unforgettable.
Right.
I'm like, I forgot he had a big home run in that one, too.
I love Frank's see ya every time.
And within about 5
he's
like, he's gone.
And he's right. Later. I mean, he's right pretty much every time, too.
Yeah,
I mean, there was no DB that could catch him once he got an open.
If he got a little bit of a crease, and some of those he earned the hard way going, between the gaps there, between center and guard, and getting it the hard way. He didn't always bounce it outside. Number 6, this one comes September 12th, 2010, against the then Oakland Raiders.
Young takes the snap. Delay handoff. Here comes CJ up the middle. He's got the 30, 40, midfield, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, end zone, touchdown, Titans! big 76 yards. I don't know if he's on the way to 2,500, but I do know that's the way you could get there.
It's only a matter of time with this guy. He is lethal from any point on the field. You can hold him to 1.7 yards per carry, but eventually he's going to bust out. And again, just gliding like a gazelle into the end zone. No one's catching that kid.
No one's catching that kid.
Well put.
But Frank's like, bye, see ya. He's
Every
gone.
time. I love it
76-yarder against the Raiders. And the reference there that Mike made, this is 2010. He goes, I don't know if he's getting to 2,500 yards. That's what CJ 2K had said to the media. It's like, I'll probably rush for 2,500 yards this year. And it's like, look, given if he played the 18, 20-game season, he might be able to.
I know. He got it from scrimmage, that's for sure.
We're now in the top 5 here. And this one of the more whimsical of his runs. This one comes his rookie year, October 19th, 2008, at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City.
Here's Johnson coming left. There he goes. 40, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, end zone. Touchdown, Titans. 66 yards. CJ to the house. And now for celebration, Johnson went into the band. That is, he went. They have a band,
A pep band.
and they are actually quite good. They're a lot of fun, and I think he went to play the drums, or I'm not sure what he did. Play the guitar, visit with the singer. I don't know, but he jumped into the band.
He wanted to get on Sports Center.
He did it.
He did do it, and he got an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for 15 yards for going and playing the bongos with the house band in that particular end zone. And it was a Sports Center highlight because of what he did after the run. That's the day that both Smash and Dash truly came to life, as that new moniker was about to be labeled on he and Lindale White. Set the franchise record for rushing in a single game, 332 yards between those two backs, because people forget in that one, Lindale White had an 80-yarder.
Yeah, right.
So
Titans went to 6-0 that day, 34-10 in Kansas City, 18 for 168 for CJ.
How about that?
Man,
playing the bongos.
The thing that stands out to me, Rhett, listening to the highlights on Titans radio, is truly how quickly Mike is going from 20, 30, 40, 50. Like, you can hear how quickly he is chewing up grass and chewing up yard lines.
As
with
Mac
his
would say, he's
cleats.
eating stripes.
Right.
Yep.
And I like it. I like that Mike did that with these calls and went through it so quickly.
It spoke
because
to the speed.
Right. And you're taught so much in broadcasting, like in radio. You take your time. You have more time than you think you need to. No, for a player that fast, I like following as quickly as you can, because it does illustrate and paint the picture for those of us who are listening and not watching the video with it, just how fast he was moving. And I love the crowd pop, too, home and away, when everyone in the stadium knows, and he's gone. There he goes.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you could just hear it as the crowd surges in that. This is one of my favorite runs by Chris Johnson, and it has a lot of sentimental value for me, because this one is Thanksgiving Day, Ford Field, against the Detroit Lions. And it is the early game of the Thanksgiving slate. And I remember this fondly just because the late Frank Wycheck and Mike Keith and our entire crew, we had Thanksgiving dinner together there in the press box. We couldn't be with our families till later that day. And that's my second family. And bless his heart, Rod Marinelli and the Lions go 0-16 that year. And they were well on their way to that mark after a run by Chris Johnson like this one.
In the shotgun, Collins facing what looks to be a blitz. Here they come. Draw play up the middle. Johnson, 45-50, 45-40, 35-30, 25-20, 15, 10, 5, end zone. 58 yards, CJ, touchdown, Titans.
Again, how fast?
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, that's first quarter.
Yeah.
Like it's 14-3 at that
14-3.
point pending.
Yep. And the Titans led 21-3 after one quarter. in that game and on their way to a 47-10 victory.
And a Dave Ball strip sack returned for a touchdown.
That's
he did
right.
the turkey dance.
That's right.
Just a lot of great memories. And for a game that didn't, mean a ton in terms of like it's an out of conference opponent.
Sure.
Those things, but it's a Thanksgiving day. Everybody in the world's watching on those days. And this is before they had a triple header. It was just a double header then. But CJ made his mark right there.
So the top 3 plays when we come back here on Ramon and Will. Rhett Bryan in studio with us, filling in for Ramon, and going into the Titans radio archive. Some outstanding memories of Chris Johnson's Tennessee Titans career that we will continue with coming up next. Wrapping up the first half of the show on your Wednesday morning edition of Ramon and Will. Rhett Bryan, Will Bowling, running through the Titans radio archives on the best plays in Chris Johnson's Tennessee Titans career. We have gone 10 through 4, and Rhett Bryan, the top 3 of the most memorable runs and plays of his Titans career, all we have left.
Top 3. Here we go. This one is another run in a game and a highlight that I played, that Zach played earlier. And this one was number 8 on the list. This is the second of 2 long runs in here. This one, we go back to November 1st, 2009 against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Gives the ball to Chris Johnson. Johnson picking his way forward. He's got the 15, the 20, the 30, the 40. Midfield looking for a block. He's at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown! Titans! 89 yards to the house.
So this is, I went back and saw an interview that Mike did with Chris in early 2018, not terribly long after he had announced his retirement from the league. And he said, of all the runs, which one was your favorite? He didn't necessarily describe this particular run, but that game against Jacksonville, November the 1st, 2009 at Nissan Stadium was his favorite. So in that game, he had a 52 and an 89-yard run. Hit 228 yards on 24 carries, and Maurice Jones-Drew was trying to put on a clinic himself. He had 177 in the losing end of things. It was a running back showcase in this game, and that is just – I'm going to give you this tale of the tape here in a moment. Sure. Just what he did, but it was amazing.
I love it.
Number 2 is a second part to a monster game he had against the Houston Texans September 20, 2009.
They give it to CJ going up the middle. He's got the 10, the 15, the 20, the 30, the 40, midfield, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, end zone, touchdown, Titans! Wow! He just went 92 yards on 3rd and 11, and the Titans are back in front.
3rd and 11.
Man, the Texans really hated seeing Chris Johnson on 3rd and long, didn't they?
They sure did. So he had a 57-yarder for a score, 91-yarder for a score in the same game.
Both of them on 3rd and long. The same game your number 9 play with on this list. 3rd and 19 for 57 yards in the same game. My goodness.
All right, now to the number 1. And this one is going to seem, and I'm going to set it up by saying you're going to hear Mike and you're going to go, why is he not excited about this? It doesn't seem like it seems kind of uneventful. Well, I'll give you the history of that or a reminder to Titans fans who remember this well. But this was the day in Seattle at the end of the 2009 season where he hit a huge career milestone.
Young gives Johnson looking for room, tries to get to the outside, and he's taken down after a couple yards. Johnson is tackled at the 47-yard line, and so Fisher is going to send out the punt unit. There is some discrepancy statistically right now about Johnson. We're waiting for an update. Here is the update. 33 carries, 133 yards. Chris Johnson has done it. He has gone over 2,000 yards, becoming the 6th player in NFL history to do it. So congratulations to him as the Titans go to punt it away.
So it sounds like, well, why isn't Mike more jubilant about this? Well, let's just go have a little rewind here. Chris Johnson had 1,872 yards heading into the final game of the season against Seattle. And it's clear he's knocking on the door 2,000, and it's clear Jeff Fisher's going to feed him the ball. So at halftime, he had 19 carries for 73 yards and a touchdown at the half. Leading up to this play leading up to what I'm about to mention, he had another 10 carries for another 47 yards. So at one point in the ball game, this is fourth quarter, he had 29 carries for 120 yards. That would have had him right at 1,992 yards. Then they have a 62-yard touchdown that was called back and nullified by a holding call made by Ed Hockley, the retired referee, Mr. Muscleman himself, on Ahmad Hall, the Sarge, the fullback. And the thing is, they didn't call this till CJ's 30 yards down the field. Kevin Mawai was incensed by that. He was so mad. So we didn't see the penalty, and because it was so late in the thing. And I mean, Ed Hockley really, it was a ticky-tack call.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Right.
If that would have stood, he would have had 2,054 yards after that play, which would have had him fourth all-time in rushing yards in a season, leapfrogging by a yard the great Barry Sanders.
Wow.
And at that point would have been just 12 yards away from passing Jamal Lewis's 2,066 yards that he did in 2003. You got to remember in the window of time this is, Adrian Peterson hadn't run for 2,097 yards in 2012. He would have been 52 yards away from Eric Dickerson's still record of 2,105 yards he set in 1984. But nope, that was negated. But he does get 2,006 yards in 2009 in a magical year. That was 2009 that just, it was more on the uneventful side because of how it started. But he finished the year with 11 straight 100-yard rushing games.
Wow.
And again, 21 runs of 40-plus yards in his career, 78 runs of 20-plus yards. Just ridiculous. Had a 50-yard run in 5 of his 10 seasons in the NFL. 5 of those came in 2009. Also in 2009, 3 runs of 80-plus yards and 3 more of 52, 48, and 40 yards.
Gosh.
Just absolutely electric. And here's the other part. He had 7 runs, and I think this still holds, of 75 yards or longer by a back. 76-yarder against the Raiders we played. He had an 80-yarder in 2012 against the Bears, an 83-yarder against the Bills in 2012, the 85-yarder against the Cardinals in 2009, the 89-yarder against the Jaguars in 2009, 91 against the Texans in 2009, and then the Jets, the longest run in 2012 at 94 yards. Just ridiculous. And let me say this, too.
Yeah.
You want to talk about how important CJ2K is to this franchise and to his teammates? Ask Kevin Mawai.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
That was probably a tipping point that helped get Kevin Mawai into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, being the center and the leader of an offensive line that blocked for a 2,000-yard rusher.
Well done by you and going into the archives to find all of this and really,
he
really good
deserves
stuff.
these flowers.
He does.
He earned them a long time ago,
does.
and God bless him and his family, and we're praying for a miracle for him for that, with being diagnosed with ALS and being public in what had to be a very difficult moment for him in that interview with Michael Strahan. And he deserves and earned these flowers, and I am so honored to be able to tell some of his story with what he meant to this franchise, and I call him this, and I always will, the most electric Tennessee Titan.
I agree.
Chimere Dike could steal a little of that after what we saw him do. You could define Vince Young by that. You could define Javon Kearse by it. There's a few you could. He's it.
He is it.
He's it.
He will always be it.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely. Austin Stanley, A to Z Sports, sent me a text. He just did an interview with Jason McCourty, reminiscing about Chris's Titans career and J-Mac being such a good Titans leader and friend of Chris's. We'll retweet this as well. Austin texted me. He says, I talked to Jason McCourty yesterday. He said Ahmad Hall was still mad about that holding call at Michael Griffin's wedding years later.
Well, because it was total bull, you know what?
Yeah, right.
I mean, here in the F&M bank chat, and at Beefman10K, the NFL refs sent the Titans an apology letter after the season. True story. That is a true story.
Yeah.
Sorry we screwed up.
My goodness.
Thanks, Ed Hockley. Appreciate that, buddy.
Truly, we are talking about with as much time that was left in that game. one call altering the course of Chris Johnson being the all-time leading rusher in a single season in NFL
And he's the
history.
numbers. He was the sixth guy to do it. Obviously, the seventh was Adrian Peterson in 2012 with 2,097 yards.
Right.
Derrick Henry in January of 2021 from the 2020 season. And then obviously the most recent would be Saquon Barkley.
Yep.
It's a rare club. And Chris Johnson, who he carried a chip on his shoulder about being labeled just a third down back in the draft process and coming out.
Sure.
And he credits the late Mike Heimerdinger, the offensive coordinator of the Tennessee Titans, for a guy who also did not believe he was just a third down back.
Wow. Fantastic. And what a player, what a person, what a leader for this organization and for this franchise. And I say he still is someone that has a remarkable amount of strength and courage. And
he showed more courage this week than he ever did on the football field because this
There's no
is
question.
life.
There's no question. Being vulnerable
He is in
enough
the
to put
fight
yourself in
of
that
his
interview
life
and put
his
yourself
poor
out there.
wife and his children in the aftermath of what this diagnosis is. 2009 first team All-Pro, 2009 Offensive Player of the Year, FedEx Ground Player of the Year, Titans 25th anniversary team electing, 3-time Pro Bowler. A lot of people are begging and asking and demanding of Miss Amy that she put him in the Ring of Honor. I would echo that. I think he earned that.
I would too. I certainly would too. One of the all-time great individual seasons in NFL history for an offensive player. That's
Well, that 2509 all-purpose yards that year, until we get to 18 and maybe way down the road 20 games in a regular season, I don't think anybody's going to touch that for a while.
No, I agree. Fantastic. Well done. That's good stuff. Really good stuff. I know a lot of folks in the F&M Bank chat loving the trip down memory lane and the highlights, and it's a tough week.
It is.
Tough week for Titans fans. No doubt about it. 2 hours down, 2 more to go this Wednesday morning. 615-737-1045 is our number. The U.S. takes on Bosnia tonight. What you need to know next. Hour number 3 of the program, second half of the show on your Wednesday morning. That for us feels a little bit like a Friday. Rhett Bryan and Will Bowling with you. Rhett in for Ramon. Zach Kroll, our producer, filling in for new dad, Justin Hawkins. 615-737-1045 is our number. We talked about it for a few minutes yesterday, but there is a big piece at ESPN.com about the best, worst, and biggest moves of all 32 teams in the NFL. One team was graded with an A, one team with an F by ESPN.com writer Seth Walder. We'll tell you what he had to say about the Titans, why John Franklin Myers was the move he liked, why Alante Taylor was the move he did not like. Streaming live on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Rhett Bryan, tonight the United States men's national team has an opportunity to put itself in the round of 16, beat a European team at the World Cup, something that does not happen.
Has eluded
for
them
the US,
for a long, long time.
And win its first knockout round game in 24 years at the World Cup, since the famous 2-0 versus Mexico in 2002. Mexico 2-0 winners last night over Ecuador to get to the round of 16 themselves. Joe Pompliano puts this on Twitter. The get-in price tonight for USA Bosnia at San Francisco Bay Area Stadium, as it is known by FIFA.
Not Levi's.
Is $1,274.
Hello.
Get-in price. Actually, a little bit lower than I expected, considering some of the prices at this tournament. That makes it the third most expensive event ever at Levi's Stadium, San Francisco Bay Area Stadium, behind only the 2016 and 2026 Super Bowls, according to TickPick on Twitter.
I'm glad you enunciated there.
That's correct. Took my time.
You did.
Took my time.
Very wisely, sir.
So,
you could be talking about something different, and I don't want to do that.
This has a chance to be the most watched soccer game in American broadcast television history. It is also the first ever men's knockout stage game at a World Cup aired in primetime in the history of this country and the history of the World Cup.
Given their recent success in this round of World Cup that they are in this 2026 version.
Yes.
And what you just outlined, I'm interested to see what the numbers are because I think it'll be massive.
So Bosnia finished third place in Group B, drawing Canada 1-1 in Toronto, losing 4-1 to Switzerland in their second game of the group stage. Switzerland's a good team that I would say is about equal status-wise to where the United States is right now, despite the fact that Switzerland dominated the American backups exactly 1 year ago at Geodis Park in a match that I was in attendance for. And they beat Qatar 3-1. So 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss so far. 40-year-old Edin Dzeko, the name to know, scored 9 goals, had 4 assists in 15 World Cup qualifier games. Those are the simple parts of this. We talked earlier in the show about it as well. Corner kicks where they make their money in terms of goal scoring. 3 goals from 12 corners so far for Bosnia in the group stage out of the 5 goals that they have scored so far within this tournament. Here is where I'll get a little bit more complicated, and I'll make this as simple as possible.
For me.
Yes. For you and many others. Listen, not just you, believe me. Expected goals, Rhett Bryan, XG, is a metric that measures all the quality of the chances you have in a match and tells you with a number how many goals you should have scored. So if I've got a tap in and there's no keeper in front of me, I'm going to get like 0.99 expected goals for 1 chance. If there's nobody in front of me, I'm standing 1 foot from the goal and the keeper's out of his 6-yard box for whatever reason. A shot from outside the box, some of these Lionel Messi chances that he's put in so far in this tournament might be a 0.2, 0.1. So you are graded on the amount of chances, the amount of high-quality opportunities that you have. Bosnia in 3 matches have generated 1.87 expected goals. They have scored 5 times, mind you. They have generated only 1.87, which tells you that according to the metrics, analytics, again, A little bit of a cloudy process even for us diehards on how you get to that number. But all the numbers tell you that they should have scored twice. They did score 5 times. Another way to look at it is a % chance any shot has of going in. So
and
if you're
expected goals, that's their one. What did you say?
1.87
and
out of 3 games combined.
That's what I was going to.
Yes,
okay.
not per game.
Cumulative score.
1.87 expected goals combined. So basically, the way you can also look at it is if you have a shot that has 0.2 expected goals, you've got a 20% chance of that shot going in, basically. That is the second lowest total among all of the teams to reach the knockouts, meaning that they are creating fewer chances, fewer high-danger opportunities than any team that is still in it. Oddly enough, Paraguay is the team that had less, and they're the team that just upset Germany. So not a fatal statistic, not something that is 100% predictive.
Something to watch, though.
Something to watch. That they have so far overperformed from a goal-scoring perspective based on the chances that they have created.
What about Team USA? What is their expected goals?
It's actually a good question.
Sorry.
Higher than that. Much higher than that. I would say that. I don't have that in front of me. I can find that, though. But another way to look at it, too. No, you're good. 4 shots inside the 18-yard box for Bosnia in 3 games. The U.S. has 12 shot attempts from inside the 18-yard box.
So, yeah, that expected goals number is going to be much higher.
100%. So,
Team USA.
This is not a match that's going to be won based off of the total chance creation, chance volume. For perspective, U.S. 4.6 expected goals so far. So there you go. They are 18th. Now, they're 18th because that's also counting a lot of teams who have already played a 4th match in the round of 32. Like Brazil has created 9.4 expected goals in 4 matches so far.
You said 4.6 for Team USA.
For the U.S., that's right.
So more than double what Bosnia is.
And the U.S. did score 8 times in the group stage, which is a United States men's national team record at a men's World Cup. So that's where we're at. This is a Bosnia team that's going to sit back. They average 44% possession per 90 minutes in group stage. The U.S. had 60% of the possession. I think the important player tonight is Weston McKennie. Number 8 for the United States, grew up in the FC Dallas Academy, plays in Turin, Italy for Juventus. Historically, one of, if not the biggest club in Italy. Lucas will be here at 9:20 to talk World Cup with us. He'd probably be a much better source to talk about with that. But at the very least, them, AC Milan, Inter Milan, the 2 Milan clubs, the biggest clubs in Italy, has played in Champions League games, has played at the highest level in Italy. So what the U.S. is going to do is, against the 4-4-2 shape, 4 defenders, 4 midfielders, 2 attackers that Bosnia is going to run, Weston McKennie gets to play essentially wherever he wants. Central midfield player that for Bosnia, that player is going to sit right in the middle of the field, protect the back 4, is not going to move around a whole lot. Essentially what soccer is in its truest form is a chess match. How can I put chess pieces in one part of the board where I've got more of my guys versus your guys? That's just the simplest way to put it, of overloading certain areas and creating space where there is not a defender. You're going to see Weston McKennie get, I think, really far forward in this and sit between the fullback and the center back. That area about 10 to 20 yards from the sideline white paint, from where the coaches are going to watch on the bench. That's the area where Weston McKennie has got to be really good under pressure, playing between the lines, between defenders, receiving the ball and making a good choice, making a good decision. I think he's going to be the quarterback of a lot of attacks in the final third. McKennie was one of 2 players, Rhett, also who started the 2nd and 3rd matches for the U.S. in the group stage. He wasn't on a yellow card suspension. He started against Australia, and he started the last match against Turkey as well. He is a really important player based on the kind of setup that Bosnia is going to have defensively against the United States. I think he has a lot of the ball. I think he makes a lot of the decisions. I think he has a big night tonight, and I like the U.S. 3-1 tonight. I think the U.S. gets another early goal to open up Bosnia a little bit. I think Bosnia gets something on the counterattack or on a set piece. Defensively, that is where the U.S. is thin. This is just not a very strong defensive team. They have been able to play defense with their forwards and with their midfielders. They're playing defense with the ball. in a lot of their matches in the group stage so far. But when the U.S. has to just defend when the other team has possession, you see mistakes, you see miscommunication, you see overplaying certain situations, and center back is where the U.S. is weakest in this entire roster. So I do think Bosnia gets on the score sheet, but I'm really interested to see how the U.S. handles the pressure and handles the moment, handles the loss that it took as well, by the way, last week to Turkey, albeit with a lot of backups and 9 changes to the starting lineup in that. This is the biggest stage that the majority of these players have ever played in their soccer lives. Christian Pulisic is probably the one that could say he's played in a bigger one because he's the only American to ever play in a UEFA Champions League final for Chelsea a couple years ago that he was a part of and won. I think everyone else in this team, this is the biggest games of their lives. Home World Cup, pressure's on, expectation on you. You've reset the bar. Now go and take it.
All right, so you're calling it 3-1?
I think it's 3-1 U.S.
I have a pen. Let's go sign.
Let's absolutely do it. I think it's Balogun gets one. I think McKennie gets one. I think Christian Pulisic gets his first World Cup goal of 2026 tonight as well. So, corner kicks.
Be a lot
big
of
deal.
watch parties in different places tonight,
Yes.
man. There'd be a lot of people. I'd be interested just to see who's gathering and watching because, to your point, with it being the first one in a knockout round in primetime for Team USA, I would think the viewership would be bananas.
So looking at NashvilleSC.com, there are still spots available to head to Geodis Park tonight and watch U.S. Bosnia at Geodis Park. Lucas Panzica, who again will be here to talk all World Cup with us in an hour, he's emceeing the festivities tonight.
Okay.
And we'll also MC a quick interview on the microphone with the head coach of first place
BJ
Nashville SC,
Callahan.
BJ Callahan, former U.S. men's national team assistant coach, who's got some incredible stories on the last World Cup and what it was like being in Qatar and being with that team. And there is literally no better person to talk about this game right now than BJ, who knows all of these players that the U.S. have in their setup right now. Obviously is the head coach of first place Nashville SC, but he's going to do a meet and greet with fans. He's going to do a Q&A with Lucas in front of the crowd as well. That will probably sell out, and there will be a wait list at some point. So if you want to go tonight to the soccer celebration at Geodis Park, USA versus Bosnia, head to NashvilleSC.com. Big graphic right there. It'll take you to another landing page, an event page. It's totally free. Plenty of food trucks. Food was outstanding. Hattie B's was out there.
Folks, it's going to be hot.
There is a water fountain there as well. So, yes, absolutely stay hydrated. It's going to be very hot, but you have great sound. Bring a lawn chair. Bring a blanket. Plenty of room. Family friendly. Get a beverage, adult beverage, or a soft drink beverage. Plenty of food vendors out there. Tons of stuff for the kids to do. You can play soccer. You can kick a ball around, answer trivia questions that Lucas and I were asking you the day. That was really fun. We had a line of about 40 kids like, I'm next. Trivia. It was awesome. And so cool to see how many of you and your kids know soccer as well. Very knowledgeable young soccer fans. So I'm rambling, but tonight, 7 o'clock kickoff. Get to Geodis Park, BJ Callahan. That will sell out. So go ahead and get your tickets at
Be a good way to get the fourth week started.
Absolutely.
Really
Absolutely. Looking forward to that.
I'll be watching.
It's ironic that the U.S. is playing on Canada Day today, and Canada is going to play on July 4th this upcoming weekend.
Well,
that's the way it worked out. Coming up, Seth Walder of ESPN.com grades all 32 teams on how they did in the offseason. One team got an A, one got an F. The Titans got a B-. We'll explain why Seth Walder gave the Titans a B- in their offseason grade at ESPN.com. Coming up next. Moving in Middle Tennessee is a big challenge. And if you are buying or selling, you're trying to do both at the same time, you've been forced because of work to do it quickly, you need peace of mind. You need guarantees. You need Bernie Gallerani of Bernie Gallerani Real Estate. What's up? It's Will Bowling. Bernie Gallerani guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it. Yeah, it's that simple. There's no risk to you. Bernie Gallerani will let you out of the contract at any time. He is the real estate agent who has the 30-day guarantee. So if you got that big promotion and you started to think, oh no, now I got to sell the house and we got to do it quickly, get Bernie Gallerani on your team. His team is going to take care of all of the little things. He's got a heart for helping Middle Tennesseans through this process. And he's given out his personal cell phone number with a 615 area code as well. 615-428-2644. You can head online to BernieGallerani.com. That's 615-428-2644. Get the 30-day guarantee by heading online to BernieGallerani.com.
A day at the spa, the perfect gift for birthdays, anniversaries, or any occasion. Lavish and luxurious, yet affordable. A grand gesture, yet simple for you. The gift card from A Moment's Peace. Give her the gift she won't buy herself. An escape, a bit of luxury. Something special that shows more than just words. A gift from A Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa in Cool Springs across I-65 from Galleria Mall. Call 615-224-0770 or go online at amomentspeace.com anytime.
Hour number 3 of the program this morning, Wednesday morning on Ramon and Will. Rep Brian, Will Bowling, 615-737-1045, the number. What is the best move that the Tennessee Titans made this offseason? Open for your feedback on that in the F and a Beg chat, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Or you can call in and let us know what your favorite move the Titans made this offseason was. 615-737-1045. A popular answer, Rhett Bryan, is going to be signing defensive tackle John Franklin Myers to return to Robert Saleh's defense like he was as a member of the New York Jets. Coming from the Denver Broncos. And at ESPN.com, Seth Walder says that is the move he liked most for the Tennessee Titans this year. He says, on the field, the Titans were aggressive in free agency, spending $21 million a year on Franklin Myers. That's a lot of money, but is well worth it for the player John Franklin Myers has become. He says, over the past 2 seasons, John Franklin Myers has ranked in the 87th and 94th percentile in pass rush win rate and run stop win rate among defensive tackles. He says those numbers were likely buoyed by all the talent surrounding him on Denver's defense, but still they are impressive. And considering the dearth of available defensive tackles in the market this year, Franklin Myers was always going to get paid. He was a good signing. Where I will jump in, Rhett, and give my opinion is that there's also talent surrounding him in Tennessee. And the 1-2 punch of John Franklin Myers and Jeffrey Simmons is the best thing the Titans have going for them in 2026. It is the strength of this football team.
John Franklin Myers, 39 pressures, 7.5 sacks last year in that Denver defense. Paired up with Jeffrey Simmons, who had a gajillion quarterback pressures and 11 quarterback sacks. This is a tag team right here. And, yeah, Denver in that market and with what they've done with that defense, I get it. I do. But, yeah, don't sleep on this. Don't sleep on this. And, listen, here's the other thing. Jermaine Johnson, because there's another piece that's dropped that we may talk about.
Sure.
That Ted Gwynn of The Athletic dropped earlier this morning about 5 teams with defenses set to break out. One of those he has is the Tennessee Titans, and he mentions Jermaine Johnson. Jermaine Johnson's got a lot to prove, too. Being a former first-round pick, being traded here straight up, and, being one of those front 4 in this Titans defense.
Yeah, Ted Wynn writes at The Athletic, most of my optimism for the Titans stems from their improved defensive line. The most important part of making a Legion of Boom-based system work is having a disruptive defensive line that can get upfield. Jeffrey Simmons is one of the most disruptive defensive tackles in the league, and the Titans found an excellent running mate for him with free agent signing John Franklin Myers, who, again, you mentioned 39 pressures and 7.5 sacks last season. He adds Jermaine Johnson, saying he hasn't lived up to his first-round billing, but had a promising sophomore season under Robert Saleh in 2023, finishing with 7.5 sacks. They also drafted Keldrick Falk in the first round to play opposite Johnson. Both defensive ends have more potential than production, but the D-tackle duo will be among the best in the league and will be the catalyst for the Titans. Goes on to write, too, Ted Wynn of The Athletic, about how good Cedric Gray was against the run last season. And
how disappointing Cody Barton was in his first year with the Titans defense.
Right. But experience in this system and being in a system and being under a head coach who has had one of the all-time great linebackers in NFL history, I think we can now say, Fred Warner.
And in fairness, Cody, that was in a different ballgame for him last year.
A lot of changes
Denard's
to the system.
defense was different than what he had been. This is a place where Cody comes back to shine some.
So I like the explanation there, and I think 100%. John Franklin Myers makes a ton of sense as the move the Titans made that is most liked. Is there another move for you, Brian, that you liked the most that Mike Borgonzi, the Titans, made this offseason?
Well, I'm going to disagree with our guy here that wrote this column in ESPN. He says the one he dislikes is Alontae Taylor. I like it with Alontae Taylor. And we have more than just the national scope of this. I mean, this guy was a baller at Canton County, and we saw what he did for the University of Tennessee. And then he stacked good time as he got more opportunities in that secondary in New Orleans. I'm not ready to throw that one out, but I'll give you the other one that is quietly becoming a whispered around with the people involved as a good one is Cordell Flott. A lot of people, as the people in New York, they really liked Cordell Flott and did not want him to leave.
From all reports, it was a pretty big recruitment of Cordell Flott between the incumbent team, the New York Giants, and the Titans. And the Giants having more time, obviously, to recruit Cordell Flott to come back, being the team that was trying to re-sign him. He chose this defense. He chose Robert Saleh and chose the Tennessee Titans. I think in this style of defense, Rhett, I worry less about the corners. I worry less about secondary players being put on islands and having to perform based off of breakout seasons, because this system is not going to isolate them as much as others. The entire point of this system is to rush 4, drop 7. And the way Russian coverage works together, you don't, I think, have so much confidence in one and so much doubt in the other, meaning what Seth Walder wrote about, John Franklin Myers being what he likes, Alante Taylor being what he doesn't like. And he got into the numbers part of it. And look, you're always going to have to overpay when you have as much space as the Titans had. It's just part of it. But that being said, doesn't one make the other better? Like, the fact that John Franklin Myers is here means that Alante Taylor and Cordell Flott don't have to cover as long as they had to in previous
if they're
stops.
having success crashing the gates up front, it could be party time for those boys in the back.
That is the thing that I think has to be changed and improved the most from last season. And if you've been listening to the show the past few weeks, the past few months, you've heard me talk about it a ton. Titans have got to force more turnovers than they did last season. Just 14 turnovers forced last year. The Titans had 1 interception by a cornerback last season, and it was Roger McCreary, who played 8 games for the team before he was dealt with the Rams. That's got to change this year.
Yep.
Cody Barton led the defense
and then do
with 3
something with
interceptions.
it when you get it.
Correct. Giving Cam more short fields, a part of Cam's development.
Or just take it and do it as the defense.
Right.
Like, strip sack, force fumble, return for a touchdown, or pick 6, or whatever. But yes, at the very least, give it back to Cam so that those guys can put some stuff on the board and not just Joey slide through the uprights.
Need more hands-on footballs this season as a rule. And that's part of Cam's development, and Cam getting better starts with the defense. Rhett, honestly, after being at minicamp and OTAs and watching this team through the spring, I know it's early, and we're not quite at moist powder level yet. We're keeping powder dry.
The weather might do that, but yes.
True. I think the move I like the most is Carnell Tate. And I wouldn't have said that in late April. I liked the pick when they made it.
Sure.
Didn't have a major issue with it. Ramon and I talked for months. You talked with us for months. There was a group of about 4 or 5 players that we would have nodded our heads and said, yep, that works. And Carnell Tate was absolutely one of them for where the Titans were. But watching him practice, and I know it's early, but watching him so far at the Vanderbilt Health Football Center, he looks like a number 1 wide receiver. It's one thing to look like that in May and June. I'd like for you to look like that September through February also. That goes without saying. But he looks faster than I expected. He makes very difficult things look effortless, and he's got the biggest hands I think I have ever seen on a wide receiver in person.
And let's not sleep on this, because the hands is what have been talked about the most. Let's not sleep on the footwork and the route running. Let's not sleep on that.
He makes things look effortless in what he does. And I don't want to get carried away with, I'm not telling you he's going to have 1,200 yards as a rookie.
I hope he does.
That'd be great. I would absolutely sign up for that today. Sure. But I think the kind of receiver that he is exactly what Cam Ward needed. And I think that those two are going to have a lot of fun throwing and catching footballs together in current Nissan Stadium and in new Nissan Stadium for years to come.
Which could lead to others that get their hands on the football having a lot of fun.
Yep. I feel really good
Tony
about
Pollard,
that.
Tajay Spears, Gunnar Helm, Alec Chim, Calvin, Wandale. Just keep going down the list.
It does not feel like a reach watching him practice where the Titans picked him in the NFL draft. Does not feel like a reach whatsoever.
Well, I mean, it's been written and said and posted about him. It's not like, boy, you had a rough day today.
Yeah,
he did,
right.
He's looked the part so far. To your point, just need that to continue.
I think it's interesting. Seth Walder continues to write at ESPN.com about this, and there are a lot of analysts out there, especially from the analytics perspective, who felt like Wandale Robinson got a bigger contract than expected here. Seth Walder really liked the Wandale Robinson move as well and writes at ESPN.com that he broke out in 2025 with 2.1 yards per route run and a very impressive 28% target rate. He says with first-round pick Carnell Tate, young players who flashed last season, such as Alec Iamaner and Chimere Dike, along with Calvin Ridley, there's real upside for the receiver group that Cam Ward will be throwing to. I've not seen a lot of that discussion happening nationally. I know it's been happening locally because those of us who have seen this team practice and get out there in OTAs and minicamp know that this is as deep of a receiver room from top to bottom that the team has had in some time. And I don't just mean the guys who are going to make the 53-man roster.
We're talking about the tight ends to go with it, too.
Right.
Part of that is the age-old story of the market size. People sleeping on Nashville, Tennessee, and thinking it's just bachelorette capital, party capital. The other part of it is 6 wins in 2 years. I mean, that's just, from the national perspective, a lot gets thrown to the curb and just brushed off because of lack of recent success.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, sleep on them all day. Keep sleeping.
Absolutely.
They just need to go in there and just prove people wrong. That's what this is. But again, I'll say this. The baseline in this, they're just trying to win more than 3 games. When they get past that point, let's see what happens.
You're looking at a season where you're going to have the ability to equal that in 1 year and potentially then some with what you are hoping to do this season. And that's going to come down to just one-score games. I mean, this team was in games at times last season that didn't go their way. If you get a 17-game sample size of what Cam Ward was after the Titans' mid-season bye week last season, I think at the very least you're getting 6 of those wins just this year. That equals the number you've had 2 years in a row.
And with the defense and what they have done to bolster and improve that, and a defense that was worn out because of the minutes they had to play on the field because the offense sputtered.
Yep.
And that defense that allowed 28 points per game and got leaky in run defense. That's part of this. If they do their part, could be back to heading towards having some fun.
Yeah. The team that got an A, one team from Seth Walder at ESPN.com, was the Philadelphia Eagles of the 32 that he graded this week. His favorite move was signing Reek Woolen on a 1-year deal from the Seattle Seahawks.
I don't disagree.
And the move he disliked was extending Jordan Davis, but liked getting a first-round pick in the future for A.J. Brown. The reshaping of that wide receiver room with Dontavian Wicks coming over from Green Bay. Mekhi Lemon, the first-round pick, obviously in the NFL draft, not by the Steelers, but by the Eagles. And Jonathan Grenard coming in and replacing essentially Jalen Phillips, who is now a Carolina Panther, which will likely net them a third-round compensatory pick per over the cap for next season in losing Jalen Phillips. By making a lot of those trades and not replacing that production with free agency money, you still get the compensatory selection as well.
I like the Reek
You don't
Woolen
erase
move.
that.
Reek Woolen is a monster-sized DB who has played into, well, I mean, he's a world champ.
He is.
So,
he is.
Yeah. They, I don't know about them being the only one that gets an A or whatever, but with what they've done, I can understand how he arrived at that grade.
One team got a D. I mentioned before one team got an F. There was one team that got a D.
Please tell me it was Jacksonville.
As,
no, I know it wasn't.
It was
it
not.
wasn't Jacksonville.
Let me see what he gave Jacksonville real quick.
I think they got a B.
Get to it. Yes, Jacksonville got a B.
Yeah.
The Arizona Cardinals got the worst grade from Seth Walder for what they did this offseason. And he says that the worst decision they made was drafting Jeremiah Love. with the number 3 overall pick. A lot of Titans fans that are nodding their heads agreeing because they wanted Jeremiah Love, obviously, to be a Tennessee Titan. But he said, let's be clear, Love's an exceptional running back prospect, but that position doesn't move the needle all that much. Even when they do hit early in the draft, they deliver less surplus value than other positions because they are otherwise so cheap to sign and therefore immediately expensive even on rookie deals.
Well, they needed long-term quarterback help.
Yes.
Because of what they're in right now with the standoff between them and Jacoby Brissett, who is QB1 right now after jettisoning Kyler Murray.
Yeah. Jacoby Brissett, Carson Beck, Gardner Minshew.
Yep.
The quarterback room in Arizona. Good luck with that. 615-737-1045, our number. So Jason McCourty, former Titan, was on a live interview with, well, I don't know if it was live. He was on an interview that Austin Stanley did at A2ZSports.com on their YouTube channel. We mentioned earlier Chris Johnson and the record-breaking run that was brought back by Ed Hockley against the Seattle Seahawks, Week 17. Well, Jason McCourty talked about it and told a great story to our friend Austin Stanley about it that you will hear coming up next. Wrapping up hour 3 on Ramon and Will. Rep Brian and Will Bowling. 615-737-1045, our number. So this week, Jason McCourty did an interview with Austin Stanley of A to Z Sports. You can check that out on the A to Z Sports Nashville YouTube page. Sharing powerful stories about Chris Johnson, Tim Shaw, and the Titans Brotherhood. It's the title of this. Tons of good stuff in here. They talk about the Jags game where CJ2K rushed for 228, going back and forth with Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yeah.
Yep. They talk about Lavelle Hawkins, talk about friendship there, Tim Shaw, and all of those stories and things from that era of Titans history. But you did a great job in going to the Titans radio archives, finding 10 plays that we played earlier, top 10 plays in CJ2K's Titans career. And there was one that was taken away. Long run in Seattle, would have clinched 2,000 yards. Ed Hockley brought it back. Well, Jason McCourty, talking with Austin Stanley, talked about how they still talk about the holding call that should have never been a holding call.
You know, like, that's all. He only needed one more carry to get the rest of that. You know, like, did you guys? What was that like in the aftermath? Obviously, the celebration of the 2K was big, but what was any continued conversation about that holding call?
Ahmad Hall was so mad. I can remember even talking to Ahmad at Griff's wedding years after that season, and still talking about it. I think the reason was he was such a good fullback. Like, he was such a good player. And I think that record was just as much his as it was the offensive lineman, Big Country, Michael Roos, Eugene Amano, Kevin Mawai, and all of those guys up front. Like, they own that record. And Ahmad, in addition to those guys, just as much as CJ did. And they wanted it just as bad. So I think just everybody within the team being pissed off, because obviously the season, team success-wise, didn't go the way anyone planned. But to have that type of record and to have that to be able to hold on to still remember that 09 season, it was special. And even with the holding call, it was still an amazing season, especially for CJ and for those guys blocking for him. But to know that a play was wiped out, and if you go back and watch that play, it's just like, if it was like just a good call, it's just like, yo, it's a part of the game, it happens, you move on. But it just didn't need it to be called, especially understanding situation and everything of that nature. But my Hall, man, he was just such a dog at fullback. And I can remember him having games where, like, we'd get up for different situations and he would go in there and beat a running back. And I can remember laughing, CJ telling him, like, hey, you got to slow down when you're going through those holes. Like, it's not like the fullback where you can just run through full speed. Like, you got to keep your head on a swivel, like, finding the right holes. It's a little bit different. So I remember those conversations on the plane and all of those things during that time in Nashville.
Jason McCourty with Austin Stanley, A to Z Sports Nashville YouTube channel. Really good stuff there.
Yes, and it just spoke to how all of that play unfolded and what it could have meant. Because we talked about in the 7 o'clock hour, had that play stood, he would have been at 2,054 yards. He would be fourth place all time at that point, or third place because Adrian Peterson hadn't done it yet. But anyway, he was within 52 yards of breaking the Eric Dickerson 2,105 yards that he set in 1984. But Ed Hockley said, and so there we are. Jason McCourty, first of all, one of my favorite Titans, great dude, and doing a great job in his life as a broadcaster. And that's a good get by Austin Stanley, A to Z. That was good stuff right there.
Really good. Really good. I'm looking at a Bleacher Report article right now, January 3rd, 2010, written by Brian Hollister. Ed Hockley's phantom holding call costs Chris Johnson shot at the record. And that was right when it happened. I mean, that was a few weeks later. January 3rd of 2010, right after.
Yep.
And, it even says within this, as Ed Hockley sometimes does, as has been his penchant for the last couple of years. He occasionally makes calls in critical situations that no one can explain, not even him. Yeah, there you go.
And that was one of them.
Crazy. Well, it's been really cool remembering Chris Johnson's Titans career, and again, we're gonna celebrate him and celebrate his life that is still with us right now. We're not eulogizing him, the man, the person.
No, we're giving the man his flowers for what he earned and did on the football field.
Absolutely, we are.
For the Tennessee Titans and brought thousands of Titans fans into the fold as fans. A lot of Titans fans fell in love with the Titans when CJ2K dropped into the scene.
Yeah.
And that's why if you can, donate to ALS research because he's in the fight of his life and he's going to need all the prayers and help and divine intervention he can get.
Absolutely.
Again, seeing him using that device with his eyes and AI-driven voice that is his, it shocked me. I almost didn't recognize him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's legitimately stunning.
You look at the movement in his head and his eyes as he's doing that interview with Michael Strahan. That beast is still in there. His body is what's failing him.
Mm-hmm.
That beast is still in there and adamant that he's going to fight this.
Yep, no doubt about it. You know, it makes me think we should do one of our Ramon Will drafts of most electric players in sports.
Yeah, he better be your first round pick.
He is the number one overall pick for me.
He should be your first round pick.
You talk about him, you talk about Deion and Barry Sanders, both of them. Devin Hester, you'd put in that category.
He's one of about a short list of 10 players all time that just could take it to the house at any given moment. We're not defining the fastest.
No, right.
We're not when you look at his long runs, good Lord.
One of the most fun players in NFL history. And just the overall entertainment you got watching him run the football.
Not your average back that you think of as the giant thumper back. He's not Chris Brown. He's not Eddie George. He's not Earl Campbell. He's not Derrick Henry. It's not even Eric Dickerson is more akin to a Derrick Henry style, a big guy with home run speed. And this guy, I mean, that year, 2009, when he had 2,006 yards rushing, he had 358 carries.
Mm-hmm.
358. That's some Eddie George numbers is what that is.
It definitely is. And to be able to withstand that many hits in an era, too, where there were less penalties as well for helmet-to-helmet hits.
And again, not just bouncing it outside with the Ferrari sixth gear.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he would go inside and take a lick or two and shake a guy off, and boom, he was gone.
You heard J-Mac just mention it. The courage you have to try to hit that full speed between the tackles.
It's like a kamikaze, man.
It's unbelievable. Yeah,
it's what guys. It's why I have such
uncommon.
A huge respect for dudes on special teams, like Bryce Oliver, the gunner for the Titans. Like I'm like, dude, you've got something in you, man, that is just not in the average person.
I was telling somebody that the other day, and the number one thing I noticed watching Titans games at field level last season is how violent special teams are.
Oh yeah.
How violent those hits are on returners, the gunners.
Open.
That is the thing that I think is most different from field level than it is up higher in the game of football. Not just NFL football. I think just overall in the game of football is how violent special teams are. Yeah. Coming up, Brendan Sorsby made a good decision in something that he did yesterday as the NFL sent a memo to its 32 teams on Tuesday. We'll give you the details of that for the final hour of the show, which starts next.
Good morning. It is 9:01, live from the Circus Sports at the Min Kentucky Down Studios. I'm Zach Kroll. We had another massive trade in the NBA yesterday as the LA Clippers have agreed to trade All-NBA forward Kawhi Leonard back to the Toronto Raptors in exchange for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, unprotected first-round picks in 2031 and 2033, a 2027 first-round pick swap, and 2 second-round picks. Leonard spent the 2018-19 season in Toronto and won the NBA Finals along with NBA Finals MVP. Also in the NBA, LeBron James has let the Lakers know that he will return for a 24th season, but it will not be in the purple and gold. James arrived in LA prior to the 2018-19 season, leading the team to an NBA title in 2020. James averaged 20.9 points, 7.2 assists, and 6.2 rebounds last season. The World Cup continues as 3 more teams punched their tickets into the round of 16 yesterday as Norway defeated Ivory Coast 2-1, France defeated Sweden 3-0, and Mexico defeated Ecuador 2-0. Team USA is in action tonight against Bosnia beginning at 7 p.m. Central Time in Santa Clara, California. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into the fourth and final hour of the show. Rhett Bryan, Will Bowling on Ramon and Will for the final hour of the week, live with you. 615-737-1045, our number. We will be observing and celebrating America 250 over the next 2 days. Looking forward to the 4th, a great weekend of thanking those, Rhett, who served and allow us to celebrate.
And still serve.
Day. Absolutely.
Yes, all
Absolutely.
of it. And I know that's more Veterans Day, but I don't want to leave them out.
Never a bad time to think about that.
A bad time. And, it's more than just getting together and having a barbecue or watching fireworks or whatever. It's more than that. I'm glad that we're able to do that.
Yes.
Because of the people who have made that possible.
Absolutely.
One thing we haven't touched on this morning, just real quick, Titans announce open dates for fans at training camp 2026. And I'll start with this. First of all, in what they call the Back to Football weekend or whatever it's called.
Back to Football weekend.
That is moved now to a Friday night instead of a Saturday daytime thing. And gates will open on Friday, August the 7th. And gates open at Nissan Stadium at 5 o'clock, and the practice scheduled to start at approximately 6:30. And that is a blue and white stadium scrimmage. You can get tickets to that free at TennesseeTitans.com/training camp. Those are available now. And so there's more info as you click on those links. And then the open practice dates at Vanderbilt Health Football Center, Saturday, August 1st, Monday, August 3rd, Tuesday, the 4th of August, Sunday, August 9th, Monday, August 17th, Friday, August 21st, the joint practice with the Seattle Seahawks, and Thursday, August 27th, the joint practice with the Chicago Bears. So there's some good stuff there. Now, those are a limited number, and they will be available online for those open practices at the facility on a first-come, first-served basis. And the opening date for that to be able to claim yours for free is Wednesday, July 15th, 10 a.m., and that is also at TennesseeTitans.com/training camp.
Very nice. I like it. Good stuff. It'll be here before we know it. Ramon always says after July 4th, for him as a player,
the clock is ticking.
The NFL offseason was into training camp mode.
Which means we have crossed the great divide and going into the really good stuff. And I'm thankful that the World Cup is presenting a huge part of that as a bridge.
Yes, absolutely.
As Team USA takes on Bosnia tonight at 7 p.m. and a watch party there at the Castle.
That's right. Lucas Panzica, who will join us in 15 minutes, will be the MC of a Q&A with BJ Callahan, Nashville SC head coach. You can head to NashvilleSC.com. Right there at the landing page, you get a huge graphic with Summer Soccer Celebration. You can click there, claim your ticket. It is totally free. Take
and
the
probably
kids.
limited in number by now.
I think so, too. It did get to a wait list for the Turkey game, and I expect it to probably get there again as well. So, going to be a hot night, but you will be in the shade. Sun will be down beyond the stadium at that point, and it'll be a great night to be out watching soccer. Soccer is a sport best enjoyed with people and at a watch party. Get to a bar, get to a pub, get to one of the many places that sell alcohol in Nashville, and get you some and enjoy the U.S. and Bosnia. It's going to be so much fun. So much fun. Real quick, before we get to this Brendan Sorsby stuff, I just saw this morning. Major news in the gaming world. PlayStation is going to stop doing discs for video games starting in 2028.
Quite honestly, I'm surprised that those types of game platforms haven't already.
The heck?
Because a lot of that, let me just say, that's probably surprising because I'm the old head here in this conversation. I'm like, no, we need discs, play games on. But I mean, with everything digitally the way that it's gone, I mean, you can save everything on a cloud. You can save everything on the memory you have within the game unit you have. I did notice as I anxiously await the drop of Grand Theft Auto 6. That is already in pre-sale and will drop, I think, in November. You can still buy that in digital form or in the jacket in physical game form. But now that doesn't really surprise me with the way everything's gone. Most everything has gone digital.
Crazy.
I mean, they probably don't even make CD players in cars anymore, I wouldn't think.
Right. I don't think mine has one. No. Most
as long as I've got Apple CarPlay, I'm rolling, man. We're good.
Absolutely. So Brendan Sorsby made a good decision in using the words, I accept 100% responsibility for my actions. In a statement that was released yesterday by him and his team saying, I did not have control of my gambling problem, and it took getting caught for me to realize that. But it was truly the best thing that could have happened to me. Because of this, I have been able to get the help I need and fully focus on my recovery. That statement released to major media sources yesterday. The NFL releasing a memo to its 32 teams informing them that Sorsby would not be pursuing litigation against the league, adding that for purposes of league and CBA rules, Mr. Sorsby will be considered a draft-eligible player for the 2027 NFL Draft. He will not be eligible to sign an NFL player contract until the completion of the 2027 NFL Draft. They will also not discipline him anymore for misconduct that is currently known, but it still retains the right to investigate his conduct. He is admitted to wagering at least $90,000 on more than 9,000 bets over the course of his college career at Indiana, Cincinnati, before Texas Tech.
And as a part of the settlement, Sorsby will be allowed to participate in normal pre-draft processes such as the Senior Bowl, Combine, holding a pro day, and going on team visits. He'd obviously have to have an invitation to the All-Star game that is the Reese's Senior Bowl, and then obviously the NFL Combine. But it basically is freeing him of any further punishment potential. But you heard it right there in what you just read. The NFL can investigate further if they need to. So he has been through a rehabilitation process and is working through all of that. And again, he has to be Mr. Clean in this, show that he's Mr. Clean in this, and put his head down and go to work and prepare for the NFL Draft. And here's the thing. He's got a months and months and months head start among the 2026 college football players that elect to go into that process into 2027.
He's 22 years old. Brendan Sorsby has been in this limbo since he announced in April that he would take an immediate indefinite leave of absence. I am really fascinated to watch this Paramount Plus series that has apparently been filming at Texas Tech since January behind the scenes. And Josh Pate put on Twitter yesterday that he thinks people will be surprised, paraphrasing, on how much cameras have seen of the Brendan Sorsby stuff with Texas Tech. I think it's going to be fascinating to learn what all those conversations have sounded like. At this point, though, Rhett, we can kind of move on. This is kind of the last update within all of this that I think is going to matter until Brendan Sorsby starts going into draft workouts next February or March.
And with what the pundits believe, and obviously barring injury and ups and downs of a college season, what is supposed to be a really good quarterback class in 2027, where does this leave him? That's for debate when we start mentioning his name again in 2027 as the pre-draft process begins. Because right now, I mean, he could be the 7th or 8th quarterback in this, for all I know. And
I agree.
Also, depending on the varying opinions of the teams involved in looking through those processes, how big of a mark this is on him, whether they even consider even talking to him.
Depending on how he answers questions in combine meetings and pre-draft meetings, he could be the 12th quarterback taken.
It is entirely up to him on that part of it.
He's got to keep doing this, and every time he's asked about this, publicly and privately, has got to give that answer. I take accountability, and it took me getting caught to really take the right steps. Because it was a very much... It's just been a tough month publicly for him and his team. And I'm going to lump his team into it because it's not just him and the people giving him advice. First of all, Texas Tech saying, just go to the supplemental draft. You'll be all right. Didn't work out.
And this is after getting a year of eligibility.
Right. When he started to use the mental health phrase within all of this thing, it became difficult to see a pathway toward him playing for that reason. It felt like a cop-out. And I obviously believe in mental health being something you need to take care of and being something that he clearly needs to take care of. But the bridge that they tried to build in his team of mental health is a problem, so he should be able to play college football right away and not be suspended, never made sense.
Yeah.
Now you really do get the chance to take a beat, stay out of the limelight, train, and not be heard from. That's the best thing Brendan Sorsby can do, is not be heard from for the foreseeable future.
And then the NFL saying, no, we're not having a supplemental draft. And so that's paying some penance for him in this on the front end of things.
Exactly
before he
right.
ever gets any opportunity at the next level.
Coming up, Lucas Panzica will join us. Talk a little World Cup. Not only the United States on to the round of 32 tonight against Bosnia. 3 more matches today. I think a front runner has emerged, and I'm not sure it's really close right now on the team I feel most confident is going to win the World Cup. We'll talk to Lucas Panzica with that in studio coming up next. Ramon Will continues here on 104.5 The Zone. Rhett Bryan, Will Bowling, talking a little World Cup to the sounds of Shakira, the official artist of the FIFA World Cup in all of history. Lucas Panzica getting his headphones plugged in. Going to talk a little U.S.
Surprised we didn't play na 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 na.
Would have been appropriate as well.
Another banger.
How we doing? Welcome.
Great, man. I was so upset when I was in Atlanta over the weekend to learn that Shakira was going to play State Farm Arena Sunday night, the day after I left.
Atlanta Arena?
I guess yeah. I guess it has to apply. Yeah. This is Nashville Arena.
Yes.
Right down the road.
Yes.
But so bummed that, imagine that, to go see Shakira live in the middle of a World Cup.
In a World Cup city, too.
The hips don't lie either.
No, they don't.
They never do.
Never have. Still don't. Welcome. Good morning. This tournament has been awesome. The U.S. tonight, we hope, has an awesome night against Bosnia. You guys are going to have a great time, though, at Geodis Park. 7 o'clock the kick. When is your Q&A with BJ Callahan tonight at Geodis Park?
6:15.
Okay.
So for folks getting there somewhat early, getting their spot, we'll be up there for 15 or so minutes on stage. He'll break down the game, talk about what Nashville SC's been doing during this break as they sit at the top of the league. Maybe we'll do a wellness check on Hani Mukhtar after Germany's exit the other day.
Yes.
You see how he's doing.
Yes.
And we'll see how Sam Surge feels in a couple hours when England plays.
Yeah, absolutely right. So you were in the building over the weekend. I want to start here because you were there for an awesome game between Uzbekistan and DR Congo. Congo about to play again, like you mentioned, against England, coming up here at 11 o'clock on Fox from Atlanta Stadium, where you just were. I still can't get over that.
They have ears everywhere.
What was it like? You were at an awesome game. Congo makes history getting out of the group stage, and the atmosphere looked unbelievable.
Dude, it was awesome. I don't know that I've ever been to a more joyful sporting event in my life, just in terms of the vibes and the dance parties outside the stadium after the game, like thousands of Congo fans just forming these huge groups and people getting into the middle and breaking it down, and the music that was playing. Just beautiful to be around and just to sit there and experience it. The game was insane. They go down 1-0. They're down at half. They score 3 second-half goals to storm back. And both of those fan bases were just happy to be there. So there was this sort of thrill of just their nation being in a World Cup. For Uzbekistan for the first time, Congo for the second time. But it was one of the most unique sporting experiences of my life. So glad I got to check that box.
And they've got some good players. I mean, Yohan Wissa's playing in England. Aaron Wan-Bissaka
had a great career.
Has been playing for a number of years for Crystal Palace, for Manchester United, for West Ham. It's a good little team. And I don't mean to belittle them, calling them a little team. But like it is a good team from a small, geographically, it is a little country. I'll put it that way. But got a big one against England coming up in an hour and a half. And I don't know, as bad as England has looked at times at putting the ball in the back of the net, all bets are off in this tournament right now in the round of 32, which has been a big win for FIFA, in my opinion, on how competitive the round of 32 games have been so far.
Yeah, I was saying this to the buddy that I went to the game with. Like, FIFA, they got problems, but damn it, can they put on a tournament? Because it's almost, I love that these games have been packed and the environments have been amazing, but it's like, here's FIFA just getting away with, they can make the ticket prices, whatever they want to make the ticket prices. Those stadiums are going to be packed. People will travel from around the world. But when you talk about stakes, to put on a bow on the England-DR Congo game, Yohan Wissa, who you mentioned, talked about it after the Uzbekistan win. Congo is a war-torn country. I mean, it's an ugly situation back home. So he talked about doing that for the people back home. So the joy that brings to people that experience that every single day. When you talk about stakes, imagine what a win by DR Congo would do against England today for people that are experiencing those things back in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Like, those are the things that
real world problems.
Exactly. Like, those are the things that only something like this tournament can provide. But England hasn't looked great, to your point. They've also been outside in their last 2 games. They're inside tonight. They're in the air conditioning. Unfortunately, I do expect England to do their thing today.
Rhett, that is a very big talking point over there in England. And Tony Husband, we had on NSC backstage a month ago.
What about Tony Wife? No, I'm sorry.
He was unavailable. Tony Husband, who is doing some of the world feed English language broadcasts for the rest of the world, and former TV voice of NSC, now does Apple TV. Great guy and great broadcaster. he kind of alerted us to that. Maybe myself. You are more into international football, international soccer than I am, but he made the point of like, this is going to be a major deal for the English players. Like anything over like 85 degrees, they just lose their minds. Like it's crazy to me. And I get it to a point, but I also don't. It literally does matter. It moves the needle that they are inside today.
It's a damn good thing we're not having one here then, because they would roast.
Man,
Yes,
I don't
they
think
would.
they could make it through warm-ups.
I mean, even last night, like watching France play Sweden, and France, who now looks like the runaway front runner to win the tournament as things currently stand. Long way to go. But the broadcaster, Darren Fletcher, was talking about that early on the Fox feed of like, Sweden is going to have some possession because they can't just chase France around in this heat.
It's unsustainable.
The entire time, because it's more taxing to play defense than offense.
Yeah.
And chasing the ball defensively with 11 men behind the ball, and that was, I think, like 88 to 90 degrees. Not belittling 90 degrees, but here in the South, I'd take 90 degrees right now with how hot things have been here.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Bosnia is going to likely be doing for 90 minutes today, is being behind the ball, chasing the United States, trying to keep the United States out in front. It'll be up to the U.S. to find a way through. But yeah, to your point, France, it's hard to picture anybody being able to beat them right now, let alone go toe-to-toe with them. What Kylian Mbappe is doing, Messi gets his flowers, and it's ridiculous. He's 39 years old setting these records. But if France go on to win another title, then Kylian Mbappe enters this category of like the Pelé, Messi, the Maradona category.
GOATs, and he's 27.
The greatest. He's 27 years old. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
You mentioned Bosnia, who is the next opponent for the U.S. men's national team. Tonight, 7 o'clock, you'll be there at Geodis Park with B.J. Callahan and a bunch of soccer fans watching.
Be a party.
So Will tells me, because I'm like, I need soccer 100 here, like
That's
101. Cool. He says that corner kicks is what the men's team has to watch out for against Bosnia. What else is Lucas Panzica watching for tonight?
Yeah, definitely set pieces. Bosnia is going to have that as a huge point of emphasis. Corner kicks, free kicks, any chance they get to lump the ball into the box, win those aerial duels with those big physical strikers. But for the United States, it's just about doing what they were able to do in the first two games, facing teams of a similar profile, teams that understand the talent mismatch, that are going to sit back, that are going to try to hit on the counterattack. Bosnia would love for this to go to penalty shootout. They would love for that to happen. So it'll be up to the United States to find the right patterns of play and combinations and break a team down. To get an early goal like the U.S. has done in each of their first three games in this tournament is critical. Nothing sort of neuters the confidence of an underdog like Bosnia, like a goal 6, 7, 8 minutes into the game, to just give you that sort of wind at your sails as the favorite. But something we've talked about, Will, is if that doesn't happen and that pressure starts to build and it's the 65th, 70th, 75th minute, still scoreless, then the confidence and the momentum starts to grow for Bosnia and they start to see extra time on the horizon. So I'll be very curious to see how the U.S. responds if they are unable to break through like that and have the crowd just going nuts and have all the momentum behind them.
This is not a cakewalk for them.
No.
But it is very attainable, is what it sounds like.
Absolutely, yeah. The U.S. are a heavy favorite in this game, and they should be. Bosnia will be physical. And this is a Bosnia side, to your point, that eliminated Italy from qualification, that went toe-to-toe with Canada in Toronto in Canada's opener, and a huge moment for Canada, who was a favorite in that game. Bosnia kind of stated themselves physically right out of the gates in that game, forced a 1-1 draw. Like, this is not a team that is a pushover, but yeah, make no mistake. The United States needs to win this game, and as fun as this tournament has been for the U.S., it doesn't matter if you lose tonight. If you lose tonight, this tournament goes from
it's all undone.
You're capturing the nation and you're playing this beautiful brand. That gets thrown away and it turns into an embarrassment.
It turns toxic really quickly.
Well, and
if that happens.
To your point, historically, this is a chance tonight for the U.S. men's team to get the monkey off their back in terms of playing European teams historically in this tournament.
Certainly a chance to, yes, beat a European team in the tournament.
It doesn't cure everything, but you get some of that off your
It's
back.
not happening.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
It will keep the momentum. You will beat a European team in this tournament for the first time. You'll win a knockout round game for the first time since 2002.
A lot of history writing, yes.
Now, this is an expanded tournament. This is the first time in the history of the World Cup there has been a round of 32. So, yes, you break that sort of drought of not winning a knockout round game, but if you win tonight, you find yourself in the round of 16, which you've been to before. The U.S. got there in 2022 and in 2014 and in 2010. This tournament has been about taking a step forward for U.S. soccer, right? So I've kind of had this line drawn of a quarterfinal appearance on the field is the one thing that can mark this tournament as a major success and step forward for the U.S. men's national team. You're 2 wins away from that, and it starts tonight.
It does start tonight. When you look big picture, Lucas, at the way manager Mauricio Pochettino has changed the vibes so quickly, how has he set this team up for success? Because you and I have spoken for the better part of 2 years at this point about how bad things felt heading into this tournament. And against Paraguay, it's like a fuse was lit and a bonfire was lit because things changed quickly to, holy crap, this is the best U.S. team of all time. We've got all these players in Europe. We can go all the way. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is on Fox saying we could win the whole World Cup. What has Mauricio Pochettino done, in your opinion, to change the script here in this World Cup?
I feel like he totally tore down this environment that looked like it existed in that program where the first team, like the A squad players, knew their place. And there was, I don't want to say a sort of complacency, but just maybe a lack of hunger to fight for those spots. You just knew who your lineup was. And Pochettino got there and tore it all down and said, nobody is given anything here in this situation. And we saw it last summer when the U.S. went into the summer preparing for the Gold Cup, which is the North American continental competition. Hugely important for the U.S. last summer because it was your last chance to play a major competition before the World Cup. And going into that summer, Christian Pulisic, the United States' biggest star, was coming off a busy season with AC Milan and went to the U.S. coaching staff and said, look, I'll play in the 2 friendlies against Turkey and Switzerland here in Nashville, but I don't want to play in the Gold Cup. I need to take the summer. I need to rest and recover after the season I've had to be ready for next summer. And Pochettino said, okay, then no. You don't get to pick and choose when you play. Where I think in previous administrations, they would have kind of said, sure, do your thing.
For sure.
Pochettino said, no, that doesn't work like that. I'm the manager, you're the player. I tell you when you play, I tell you when you don't play. You don't get to tell me what games you play and don't play. And I do think that sent a message. And at the time, the vibes were like, oh, man, I don't know if this team's going to make it, man. It's all over the place. Yeah. You've got legends like Tim Howard and Landon Donovan criticizing Pulisic for that decision. But it's all kind of paid off. Pochettino tore this thing down, left no stone unturned in terms of players and who can fit what part of his system. And they hit the ground running in this tournament.
The thing that interests me tonight, Lucas, too, we talked a little bit about the pressure that may build if they can't get a goal quickly. Who are the subs that can impact this game? That's the question for me, because the best 11 for the United States, the starting lineup you're going to see there, is full of dynamic players who can score. And I think that's the fun part about all of this, is that beyond maybe Tim Ream, the 40-year-old, 39-year-old left-sided center back, you've got goal-scoring ability on set pieces from Alex Freeman, who scored in this tournament. Chris Richards, who is a set-piece threat, was in the Gold Cup final last summer in a loss to Mexico.
Sebastian Berhalter's set-piece delivery has been on point.
It's been fantastic. Where can you impact this game then off the bench if you're Mauricio Pochettino? Because that's one of the worries for me with Christian Roldan, one of your only other midfield players, hurt and probably unavailable for this game. You are thin in attacking players that can make an impact off the bench. And it really does underscore the importance of an early goal in this game.
Yeah, to me, the only real maverick chess piece you have off the bench is Gio Reyna, who we saw come on in the first game and score a gorgeous goal in the last kick of the game against Paraguay. Hugely talented player that's been through a lot in his career, has been an injury-prone player, but when he's on is one of the most creative attacking players that we've seen in a U.S. shirt.
As high of a ceiling as anybody in the final third that the U.S. has had.
For sure. So we could start going down the list of like an Ale Zendejas and different things that Pochettino could turn to. But if things are cagey the way Bosnia wants it to be, and the U.S. is just having trouble breaking them down and finding a way through those lines, then I'd expect Gio Reyna on by the 60th minute.
Yeah, that's fair. What was it like the other day watching Brazil barely beat Japan live on the Buck Rising show?
I was fully clenched, man. Like the first half of that game, we were here in studio, and it's 1-0 at halftime.
1-0 Japan, for those who don't know.
Japan scores first, and I was gonna like cross the street, with the guys and watch. I was like, I'm just gonna go home. I'm just gonna go home to a safe place and watch this game. Selfishly, for me individually, I'll be in Brazil Friday. So the very last thing I wanted was to get there and the party, and it's just the whole country's in mourning, essentially, because that's what happens here. Right. But, larger than me, obviously, it would be disaster for Brazil to go out that way. But Carlo Ancelotti pulled all the right levers at halftime. Every decision he made paid off in the second half. Right. Your boy Gabriel Martinelli of Arsenal came on with the latest game-winning goal in a World Cup in Brazilian men's soccer history.
Just crazy with the amount of late goal, like big goals that have been scored in Brazilian history. The fact that one's the latest.
The latest
insane.
one. And they move on. They get Erling Haaland in Norway in the round of 16.
It's a matchup Premier League fans know well, and Gabriel Magalhaes versus Erling Haaland.
By the way, Robert Walsh, Bert, showed me this reel yesterday of the Brazilian fans around the Japanese fan that just melted down. Yeah. And then they bring him out to the party. They're trying to hoist him and throw him in the air. Yeah, and this guy's just like, I refuse to be happy about this. Like, I can't do this. He was just absolutely miserable. But Bert and I were talking about this. What other sport in the world where that ever take place? Like, you're not going to see that between the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills in a division.
No. Steelers, Ravens.
Like, dude, we're going to slam dunk on you. Yeah. Like, no way. In Buffalo, they might throw him through a table lit on fire.
Literally.
But no, and you speaking about going to Atlanta and seeing what you saw with Congo.
Yeah.
Like, that's the spirit of what this is. Like, no other sport in the world's going to do that. Oh. And, of course, bless his heart, his misery in that reel. The Japanese fan was just going through it.
He was going through it, man. Very expressive.
It was wild to see that.
I mean, it's so cool. There are rivalries, right? Like, take any European power, pit France and England up against each other or whatever.
England, Scotland.
Right. Brazil, Argentina, which, is something that could happen in the semifinal.
Which is, whew.
Yeah. Mexico and the U.S., when they share the field, like, it gets ugly, right? But there are also these moments where nations that don't typically play against each other come together, and there are these geopolitical ties that bleed into these games. And with the fans, Brazil and Japan have always had a fantastic relationship. Brazil holds the highest population of Japanese people outside of Japan.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I learned something today.
Wow. Japanese food culture is everywhere in Brazil.
Interesting.
I mean, I can't even tell you how many family friends we have of Japanese descent, but they are Brazilian. I mean, it's like, Asian Americans in the U.S., Asian Brazilians in Brazil. And so there's a long history of that. So I just always think that's so fascinating. It's like, okay, we're rivals today. We have to beat you. But then it kind of comes back to it's all love after that. And that's so fascinating to me, man. It's a beautiful thing about this tournament. But this Brazilian side, too, is kind of a confluence of those things where there's also a huge Italian population in Brazil.
Right.
So this is a Brazilian team that is a very talented squad with an Italian legend as its head coach. That plays a more pragmatic Italian style of soccer as opposed to the Brazilian flair and creativity. So they're a team after my own heart. Like, they're just colliding all these worlds. And so I think it's fascinating when you get a Senegal taking on a France. And this is a nation in Senegal taking on literally its colonizers in France. And these Senegalese players are of French/Senegalese descent.
And vice versa. A lot of French players who could play for Senegal, too.
Incredibly, just a unique thing that I don't think we see in sports anywhere else.
That's what made Netherlands-Morocco so fun the other night, too. I didn't realize how big of a Moroccan population there was in the Netherlands as well.
Yeah,
I didn't either. The other day. On the way out, Mexico last night, just so good against Ecuador. Again, a team that kind of like Paraguay, honestly, early, maybe a better version of it. So good at the back, just didn't have that goal scorer.
Yeah.
Ecuador up front, Enter Valencia, probably about 4 years too late to be in a team like that for a contending team. But how dangerous is Mexico in this tournament, considering they will have home field advantage at the Estadio Azteca, likely against England in the next round?
Yeah.
the way those two teams have looked, I think the betting favorite in that game will probably be Mexico, which is crazy to think about.
Mexico's not getting enough attention in this tournament.
I don't think so either.
Like the U.S. has gotten all the attention. Canada has already had its moment with that first ever knockout round win. But Mexico has just kind of been mowing down everybody in front of them. If they do play England in the next round, that, in my opinion, will be the best environment of the entire World Cup.
Agreed.
In Mexico City.
I think it'll be better than the final.
Agreed. Yes. The final at MetLife Stadium.
Yeah, right.
You know, like it's a
New York,
big
New Jersey
difference.
Stadium of East Rutherford, New Jersey.
That's right.
That's right. Apologies. Apologies.
They're calling it
Mr. Infantino.
New York, New Jersey. It's in New Jersey.
Sure.
Let's start with New Jersey, New York Stadium.
Which, in my opinion, terrible place to hold the final. I hate it.
Awful.
But I get they want the market that is New York, but like MetLife Stadium, New York, New Jersey Stadium is not exactly, in the midst of the New York skyline.
Yeah, it does not roll off the tongue either.
But yeah, man, watch out for Mexico in this thing. Like there's not many nations that are more due for a deep run in a World Cup than Mexico. They're one of the more underachieving soccer nations in the world. If they get England next round, that's must-see TV.
They're literally the New York Knicks in a lot of ways.
Sure.
Of World Cup history. Rabid fan base, incredible following, big brand.
Yeah.
Hasn't had the postseason success.
Tonight, Lucas Panzica, BJ Callahan, and lots of soccer fans at the watch party at Geoda's
Come on, man. NashvilleSC.com. It's totally free, but, fire hazards. There is a limit on people that can pack in there. It will fill up. Go to the website.
Check in now.
RSVP your name, and we'll see you there.
And then, as I say, hell yeah, go America.
And
That's what I'm talking about.
And yes, 100%. Go. It's fun. You'll have sound. You'll have a good spot. It'll be great.
Great viewing experience.
Lucas Panzica, Buck
Nice
Rising
job.
Show on
Thanks,
deck,
boys.
10 to 1. Good to see you. Appreciate you.
Thanks, y'all.
We will wrap up the show. Headlines we missed on the way out next.
When you start noticing cracks in a wall and even floors or driveway sinking and separating, it's more than a home issue. It's a peace of mind issue. That's why who you choose for a foundation repair concrete leveling, it really matters. I personally trust United Structural Systems because they've been doing it the right way since 1994, right here in Tennessee. USS, they don't believe in those quick fixes or scare tactics. They take the time to inspect, explain what's happening, and walk you through real proven solutions that are built to last. Whether your home needs foundation stabilization, crawl space repair, or concrete leveling for sinking sidewalks, patios, or driveways, USS uses engineered systems designed for long-term performance and not those temporary patches. What really stands out to me is their commitment to integrity. If you don't need repairs, like I didn't, they'll tell you that. And if you do, you'll know exactly why before the work even begins. And currently with USS, they are introducing 24 months, no interest financing options good now through the end of June. Learn more and schedule your inspection by heading over to USSTN.com.
Wrapping up the show this morning on Ramon and Will. Rhett Brian Will Bowling. Thank you, Rhett, for filling in this morning. Good to see you as
Glad
always.
to do it, and I'll be back in Monday to fill in for Biggie.
Let's do it.
Post-holiday.
I love it.
So we'll see what has transpired over the 4th of July weekend, and hopefully we will be talking very much about Team USA with a victory over Bosnia after tonight.
Yes, sir. Gates open at 5 o'clock at Geodis Park tonight. Q&A and meet and greet with BJ Callahan at 6:15. 7 o'clock kickoff between USA and Bosnia. Parking lots open at 3. NSC and Geodis Park is putting all that on Twitter just a moment ago. All right, you have got a ranking. It's an article from Homst again.
Kevin Patra of NFL.com, senior news writer, NFL.com.
Teams looking to go worst to first
Yes,
this
and he has
upcoming
8
season.
candidates ranked, and I'm going to skip through some of this because we'll come back to this. But he has the Titans number 4 out of the 8 in this, right in the middle of the pack. With the arrival of Coach Robert Saleh, offensive coordinator Brian Daboll brings legitimacy to a Titan squad that has lived in the AFC South cellar for the past 3 seasons. They spent the offseason acquiring veterans familiar with coaching staff, from defensive lineman John Franklin Myers, defensive end Jermaine Johnson. On defense, 2 wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson and center Austin Schlotman on offense. The familiarity, particularly on defense, should help the Titans immediately improve. We know Saleh can coach defense. His scheme and the personnel are obvious upgrades for a unit that ranked 28th in points last year, with star defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons still dominating. The Titans could be the most improved D in the NFL. The key to Tennessee finally finding success will be Cam Ward. The quarterback showed flashes as a rookie last season, but was wholly inconsistent. Robinson and first-round pick Carnell Tate should provide significantly better weaponry than Ward was given in year 1. Daboll has proven that he can develop young quarterbacks. If Ward makes a leap in 2026, the Titans have a shot to compete with their division rivals.
All fair. I like it. The 3 teams in front of the Titans on this list, I think, are hard to argue with, especially the top 2. New Orleans Saints, who were 6-11 and last in the NFC South last year, considering the division they are in, not a crazy high bar for them to reach 10 wins. That might be good enough to win that division, to be quite honest with you.
And Tyler Shuck can spin it.
And he started to really come on strong at the end of last season. And then the Detroit Lions, who were the walking wounded on defense a season ago, and will get healthy on defense. They're going to move Penei Sewell to left tackle. Blake Miller steps in at right. But they should be healthier again. Obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs, well documented. I think the New York Giants and Titans are about on the same level here, and they give the Giants a bit of a nod over the Titans in this ranking for John Harbaugh's arrival and the playmakers up front with Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, and Kayvon Thibodeau. They do lose Dexter Lawrence. Arvell Reese added to that defense as well, but they are banking on the flashes for Jackson Dart being more than just flashes this upcoming season. My question for him will always be, can you protect yourself, have mobility, and be the same guy? Exactly.
Yeah, because you got to stay the hell away from that blue tent.
Right.
And getting evaluated for concussions. And then, Cam Scatteraboo coming off of a broken leg that was derailing a nice season for him in production there. And then Francis Maui Noah, the first rounder that will be filling in at guard. And, obviously it's up in the air about Malik Neighbors. But, yeah, the defense in this under John Harbaugh, and, they are stoked that let me just say this. I did a hit with the New York Giants recently through WFAN about a opponent preview, and they were elated when Commissioner Goodell said that we were taking Carnell Tate. They couldn't believe that Arvell Reese was there, and you saw it in the war room with Joe Shane and John Harbaugh. They were just jumping to get on the phone and hey, write out this card. Arvell Reese, pick 5, New York Giants, Ohio State University. But yeah, there's a lot of similarities there. So we'll just see how this thing shakes out. But, yeah, I thought, 4 out of the 8. And, again, it's just a list in the offseason. It's,
Sure.
It's keeping busy until we get to the real stuff. But, it's got some people's attention. And I think part of that is having 2 former head coaches from one of the biggest markets in the league probably doesn't hurt that.
Sure.
And Cam Ward, while he isn't a household name, people know who the kid is. And he can become a household name if he has a chance to stay upright and move the ball down the field.
Tell you what, September 27th is going to be an interesting day when those 2 teams play each other, first and foremost because of how much the 2 staffs kind of switched places from
Brian
Shea
Callahan's
Tierney,
quarterback's
Brian Dable,
coach,
Denard Wilson,
Frank Bush
Brian
is
Callahan,
the linebacker.
Frank Bush.
Yes.
The 2 rosters kind of switching over, and obviously Daniel Bellinger and
A lot of
Wan'Dale
musical
Robinson
chairs there. Yeah.
And 2, just the 2 teams being the 2 that were reportedly in the mix for John Harbaugh's services when he became available. The Giants wanting Cam Ward as much as they did, with Joe Shane as the GM and Daboll as the head coach. 2 fan bases now that have had to kind of battle for a lot of the same, for lack of a better term, they've been going for the same turkey leg at the Thanksgiving table. Like, 2 teams that have been vying for a lot of the same things. And Titans kind of got their first pick with the draft. Giants kind of got their first pick with the coach. And I've just seen a lot of the stuff on social media, like 2 fan bases that are kind of creating a little bit of an online rivalry, so to speak, because they've just kind of been on parallel paths for the last few years. So gonna be a fun
week
game.
1 will be something a little extra for the
New
head
Jersey,
coach.
New York Stadium.
Yes.
September 27th.
Week 1 will mean something a little extra for the head coach.
Yes.
Week 3 will mean something a little extra for the offensive coordinator of your Tennessee Titans.
No doubt. Looking forward to that. It'll be here before we know it.
It will.
After July 4th, it is just right around the corner.
Oh, boy, is it ever. I will be in the laboratory creating new imaging for Tennessee Titans radio. And have a great 4th.
You too.
Be safe. Be careful. Everybody out there. And go TME USA tonight.
That's right. Get to Geodis Park. If you can't make it to Geodis, get to a place where food and drink are sold. Watch the U.S. take down Bosnia with a community, with people. Buck Rising Show next. Lucas will have much more on that as well. Have a good weekend. Happy 4th. We'll talk to you Monday.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Man, we do not like dealing with those issues at all, especially when it comes to plumbing and you got people all over your house for the cookout. We know the 4th of July is coming up and nobody wants to be dealing with those type of issues. Or the HVAC when it's super hot outside, or just simple electrical emergencies too. And it doesn't have to be an emergency. If you want to be on the front end of getting those services taken care of, Hiller's the company to use, man. When you call Hiller, the experts, they solve your problems quickly, and the price you're told is the price that you will actually pay with no hidden fees or surprises on your bill at all. Hiller's been in business for over 35 years. They're family owned and operated, and you know they care about it when it's that way. Their techs are very professional, experienced, and trustworthy, and they're all background and drug screened as well. When they're on their way, you'll receive a photo of the tech and a link to track them in real time, so you're not sitting around wasting your time. Their motto is happy you'll be or the service is free. They believe in this. If you're not satisfied with the work, they'll just simply hand you your money back and try to fix it the best they can. To learn more about Hiller, to book with them like I do, simply head over to happyhiller.com.